beat Gambit youngsters was very much off the back of the fact that both Body and Lambert had a very good performance. Basically, 3 players popped off to some extent, while at the same time, Axile had the worst performance on his entire team. So that's just this magical combination that you're not always going to have come up. So I'm interested to see how exactly it works. And you can see over here, both the star players, Body, once upon a time, you know, was the replacement for СТРИМ on G2 in 2017, and Shiro on the other side, you know, the fabled young opera we talk about now and then. Lambert, Sixer, finding a couple of kills apiece. Supra's also coming back with a response, but it's not too good of one. The CTs have been forced back into the site, but Shiro and Supra, they're still trying to get that advantage equalized before they let anyone come in, and it will be the 2v2 retake that's on. Bomb is being planted, Body is furrying forward. Can he find anything? Flashbang goes in. Supra tapping away with the P2K. And it seems like CTs who don't have a kit. Oh, they're able to scout out Supra. They drop the bomb as well. That'll be difficult.
Yeah, Shiro now being stuck in between a rock and a hard place because he has to get that bomb. He has to get the plant down, and he'll constantly be worried about the potential of getting shot from either Coffin or Banana. CT always being a prospect as well. Now he tries to swing out wide. He spots one player, but he has to keep going for these 1 versus 2 duels. That's the problem here. Flashbang rolls out. Wait, is that a flashbang or a decoy? I think they bought it too, just like I did. Shiro, though, he's picked up one, and there it is. Body left in a 1 versus 1, but Shiro is on 2 points of health. That is... Oh, man, it just comes down to the headshots, and Shiro somehow picks it up. From the realms of impossibility, he will strike back. He clutches it from its depths. Despite the bomb being dropped, against all odds, he gets the first round for Gambit youngsters. And that's the pop-off that I've been waiting to see from Shiro.
That's the pop-off right there. This is, you know, I am happy with this. This is already a different Shiro to what we have been acquainted with. At least what I have been acquainted with, not you. However, Gambit youngsters somehow or the other, despite not having the bomb plant initially, do come out on top. Now I'm trying to find out why exactly there is a small pause coming through. I think it might just be some server issues. Online Counter-Strike, unfortunately, those issues do pop up.
Listen, man, that's a magic trick right there. Sometimes when you can't get rounds straight off the bat, you just have to go ahead and poof them off the server.
That decoy play, though, it justifies every single time I have ever seen. I've literally ever seen a decoy being bought for no reason whatsoever, and there is that coming through. That being said, though, we did just have a couple of issues coming up with some of the rule sets and this and that and whatnot, and you know these things will be fixed in a little while, so don't worry about that. Just some smaller issues coming up. One of the Gambit players forgot to unequip their agent skin, so I'm sure they'll just be quickly doing that and come back into it. Of course, for the sake of fair play and competitive integrity, Relog, as do many tournament organizers, advise players to disable their agent skins because of how they can be exploited on certain maps, and they're just trying to reset that and figure that out. So nothing to worry about. It'll all be good. It's all good. One could say, now that's a mistake.
That's for sure.
LDLC cannot afford to make mistakes, though. Sure, right now, next few rounds, yes, they can, but that is a harrowing way to start off a game. We're going to be seeing 3 players early on trying to get control over Banana, and they will have bought up an MP9. Axile is in the party. Got himself those nice 2 kills. Always like to see that.
And with the MAC-10 too, that's a lot of money in his wallet there. That's $1,200 straight in the bank. Axile following it up as well. That's quite a bit of money. What can I say?
It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on the T side, it's so easy to pick up that money with the MAC-10. You barely lose out on anything. It's not even much of a risk if you're up against pistols. If anything, it's better to buy that up instead of a Galil or an AK because you allow yourself to build up money without giving up too much firepower. LDLC,
Remind me
though,
to never take investment advice from you, by the way. Just letting you know.
Yeah, just a side note.
But the important thing over here for me is the fact that not only did Gambit youngsters buy 3 MAC-10s, it's that they have come out on top versus the 4 spy. And after that, what that means is all 3 MAC-10s are alive. Next round, just send them forward. Once, if there are any nades from the CTs that are coming down banana or down mid, let them fly. After that, let the MAC-10s go through. They're gonna have to die anyway. Supra dying is not ideal because that is, of course, a rifle. Shiro will get a kill in response, but they do end up losing a rifle nonetheless. However, this is where Axel just drops him a MAC-10 potentially, and he pulls out an AK of his own. Look at that spray down, though. MAC-10, that is clean.
I can respect a man that knows how to control the spray of a MAC-10.
I can worship a man who does.
Gambit youngsters, though, 2 quick and clean rounds. LDLC, on the other hand, barely any money to work off of, but that's expected because they
Bonnie aggressive again early on. Money's going to start to be built up as well. And Lambert, while he's trying to fight back, but Nafani is still in hot pursuit. Can I just say, Gambit youngsters has some very good looking players.
Not only are they good looking, they are very good at fragging too, because Shiro, he's picked up 2. Oh, look at that. The CTs are not able to get any damage done. This is just clean work by Nafani. Very clean, like his haircut.
Yeah, like honestly, I liked it.
Very nice and slick, actually.
All of them. It's insane, man. It's like Gambit just brought them all, gave them like an actual makeover, and then that's what, after that they got their pictures taken. Shiro looks disappointed in me though, that's fair. Probably good reason.
Oh god, now that I've noticed that, I'll never be able to let that get out of my head.
That being said, LDLC are hoping to get all those bullets that are stuck in their head out without too much damage. Gambit youngsters do have 4 AKs now. They dished their own MAC-10s because the CTs couldn't take them away from them. And early nade out towards body is not telling us of good things to come.
Gambit Young, ooh, because of the Molotov's positioning, Axile should be able to get up close. Cooper, on the other hand, he's wreaking havoc as he's brought down 3 players to pretty low HP. I'm actually not sure if he was the one that did the damage there. But yeah, still a lot of damage, but Axile, meanwhile, on the B-bomb side, he's put down Afro in his grave. Very convenient, too, because the coffin's right there. 4 versus 4 now. Gambit youngsters taking control of mid. Ooh, they're taking this nice and slow.
And Body could be overwhelmed. He's alone on the B-bomb site. He's got to anchor it out like nothing else. No utility either. So you can't even say, hey, Axile's just going to die to me. And Axile picks up Axile even goes ahead and picks some stuff up an M4A4. So somehow everything is going their way. And Body, he just says goodbye. LDLC are probably going to be forced to save with that saved AK they have along with the 2 M4s. There isn't much of a chance for them to run away with this and have anything to show for it. Gambit youngsters, so far, outmaneuvering the CT side pretty handily.
I'm a little surprised by the way LDLC used their utility towards Banana, because it felt like they were setting themselves up for control, but that still let Axile slip through the cracks and surprise a player. And overall, just unfortunate for LDLC that they weren't able to win the duel out towards Boiler when they were contesting short, even though they had 3 players that were firing at 1.
Oh, camera angles for days, production. For days. I like it. I'm very easily impressed by cinematography in game. It's one of my smaller pleasures. That being said, LDLC will not have an AWP even if they do have a buy. And I said it before, on a map like Inferno, it is so impactful to have the AWP being able to get aggressive, being able to post up inside a site, being able to post up on broken wall and hold it on their lonesome as well. So this will be a difference maker, make no mistake about it, but Body not getting that kill early on will also make a bit of a difference. Axel likes to play a little bit defensively early on, but now that smoke was down, he had a false sense of security, walked into a nade, and he does fall. Early advantage going the way of LDLC for once.
Yeah, we haven't seen this very often. Gambit youngsters now on the back lines. They've already lost a player. I think Shiro might have spotted Afro, who was going for the jump peak there. Supra already taking control of apartments, so LDLC will keep themselves guessing. But Body, though, with a quick boost on top of his teammate to clear around the smoke and pick up Supra. That is a great micro play coming out from LDLC to get the initial advantage. But Afro, though, trying to hold down the V bomb site all alone. Gets a little bit of backup from Body. Oh, look at that. What a quick, clean tap onto Nafani. Makes that look so easy. He's just got a button on his keyboard that makes smokes go away. Enters. Ooh. Still managed to get the bomb plant, though. You see how easy how easy he made that look.
Oh yeah, I mean, Body just looked insane at that point. Really good awareness coming out from him, of course. Just quick tap comes in, but even then. Four to 1, and LDLC need to continue from that first round, and not every round will start off with Axel dying through the smoke and then Body getting 2 more kills through the smoke afterwards. However, when all said and done, the CTs have got banana control early on over here, but I want to see them get a little bit aggressive, maybe towards apartments, towards mid, just find some information somewhere. Gambit youngsters have got the AWP out for sure. And maybe they're worried about that. Maybe they're worried about giving it a chance to have picks. So you have to be concerned if you're an LDLC fan by the fact that Gambit youngsters have not really lost anyone, and they seem to be able to get brackets control pretty easily if they want to move into it.
Apartments in mid. The control has been established. Cubby cleared out. So it all comes down to whether or not they can win these aim duels here on A. They've gotten 1, but Sixer is still the defense that they need to be wary of. 2 opposing angles from site and pit. Now they know where Sixer is, but he's already picked up 2. Make that a 3rd. And that leaves Shiro in a 1-on-4. Oh. Almost catches the flick there too around library, but with an AK in hand just gets overwhelmed by the LDLC player storming his way. LDLC picking up the 2nd round.
Nicely done from them, of course. You see where Sixer's positioning is just picture perfect. He is completely able to catch them unawares. They were not expecting him to actually be swinging out once they saw that there was no one inside the pit itself. So nicely done at the end of the day, but Shiro missing that shot might be coming back to haunt him. He could have done some serious economic damage towards the very end of it. LDLC instead are allowed to save all of their players, save just 1, and that 1 has also gone down over here. So a 4 versus 5 early on. It's Shiro to have found that kill with the AWP. We were unfortunately not able to catch that, but I assure you it was a good one.
Yeah, with the early advantage, Gambit Young have all the time in the world, because they can just wait for LDLC to sort of scramble. But, at the end of the day, if you're on the CT side and you lose a player, that's where you sort of have to start to go for a gamble at the very least to try to get some information. And with Body already losing quite a bit of HP, Gambit, they've put themselves in the front seat. Afro goes down through the wall as well, and that's the B site opened up.
That's just random spam catching off Afro as well. Gambit youngsters realize the possibility of someone being there, but I love this from them. They've left Inters behind to make sure that anyone who is making noise, anyone who is trying to stay alive, anyone who's trying to rotate past will be discovered. Unfortunately for Inters, he is standing at the one angle where he can't see any of them move past him. So unless he's able to get a nice flank in onto these CT side players, it seems unlikely that he can actually stop them from saving. There is quite a bit of time, and there is a lot on the line for these CT players to take their guns forward, but hold that thought. Let's take a look at Inters. Can he thread the needle? Can he actually get these kills? Wings out, Sixers ready with the AWP. Nothing really coming in for him. Thought maybe he would be able to catch off body, but that was not meant to be.
I'm sorry, I was a little distracted by the fact that I just noticed that the Bowie knife might actually be the only knife in the game where you can't see the player model's both hands. I mean, because the Bowie knife is so big, your player has to retract the other hand, otherwise it covers it.
You can't see it. You can't see both hands with the butterfly either.
No, that's not true. You can see both hands for sure, because I have a butterfly knife.
Yeah, that's because you have a really weird view model. A default view model, you can't.
No, I'm pretty sure you can. At the very least, you should be able to see the fingers, but for Bowie, you can't see the hand at all.
Look, man, this is not a game about skins, even if we are sponsored by Skin Barons. If you like,
really?
You can actually go over towards them and check them out. There you go.
Good plug. 10 out of 10. I can respect that.
I can also respect the fact that LDLC managed to save all of those weapons and have enough money to go for the double op afterwards. It's a very costly investment, yes, absolutely, but it is one that can go a long way coming out this early when you are potentially on the verge of losing control of a half. 2-5 is a very dangerous scoreline to have at this stage.
Hero trying to get early information towards mid already. Afro, though, tries to go for a pot shot towards Banana, but will pay for it with 60 HP. Haji. Oh, Supra walks into his crosshairs. Taking so long there on the jump, that's what gave away his information, but Lambert is not going to allow them to run through the smoke willy-nilly. The punish comes through, and Shiro is forced to back off because of the molly. Inters is separated from his teammates. They've isolated this duel.
Shiro up at the ready, brings it back, and he has the full B bomb site to himself. Now he does drop the bomb in the process of retrieving. Oh, actually, never mind. He might not know where to go anymore on the CT side. Shiro may be posted up, yes, but he does not know where Body is. So Body, if he peeks out, if he goes for a slightly wider swing, he'll be able to see the barrel of that gun sticking out. But Shiro's positioning is perfect. He will find the trade. A 2 versus 2 now on the cards. And once again, LDLC, despite having quite a bit of success, despite being able to force Inters into this perfect funnel of utility, they can't get the advantage. And retakes are on. Shiro, Molotov, and Flashbang at the ready.
2v2 retake definitely doable, but before I say that, Exile staying true to his name has exiled him from the server. That just leaves Sixer. Well, all he can hope for is a save now, but before that, he gets a quick exit kill as well. Gambit youngsters have been looking so strong, even when they lose that advantage. You saw how previously Enters being left all alone on A, he was still able to get the kills to help them maneuver into the bomb site. Just perfectly played individually.
6 rounds already on the board, and it comes through at a very difficult time as well, where they just chose to invest into the double op setup. Now, LDLC does have enough money for a buy, and they can even go for a double op. They had, I believe it was 4 guns saved in both of the rounds that they won, and then after that they had actually saved quite a few weapons, even when they were losing. So money's not a problem for once for the CT side, but they are running out of solutions. Now, there is a small technical timeout coming in. I believe it is just a couple of issues coming in with a TeamSpeak server, but hopefully that should be resolved very soon. In the meanwhile, I've heard you were telling me something about, I don't know, some kind of like thousands, millions? What was it? What was it?
Thousands, I don't know, you tell me.
There's something about millions, and there being millions in
about esports, the millions of the esports variety. Well, for that, I have to say that to the audience, you guys should go ahead and check out the Esports Bible's pinned tweet for your chance to win a Main Deer Gaming PC. All you need to do is retweet and participate in Esports Millions. for which round 2 is now live. This time, Unicorn is offering everyone who participates a chance to win a Main Gear Vibe Stage 3 gaming PC. The top 50 answers will also share $5,000 of Unicorn bets. This just all leads up to the €1 million giveaway during Cups 3 and 4, which will be given to anyone who can answer all the 10 questions right. You can get involved at ukrn.io/esportsmillions.
There you have it. Some great stuff coming out from our partners over at Unicorn as well. Seems like all our partners are great. Haha, that's just how good we are. Boom chakalaka. I don't know why I said that. But
yeah, I got the short end of the stick in terms of partners. Yeah, I get you. I see where the deficit is now, but speaking of deficit, Gambit YNG might be running into one of the... Oh, Shiro. Perfectly posted up to cut off Inters.
Flashbang is good to try and reclaim some sort of ground towards Banana, but Lambert is playing inside the smoke. Is he waiting for a flashback of his teammate? Yes, he is. He's actually has gone through the smoke. He's traded immediately. Body will have another player coming through the smoke on the other side. What's going on here? Sixer takes down the player lurking from Boiler. Axel will need to swing out. Inters doesn't have HP. And he's saying, why don't you go leave me all alone?
I'm a little surprised that you didn't wait for Inters, because to be able to scope out that AWP, which they did have the information for, it would be better to just send the low HP player, so at the very least he can try to make that shot miss, and even if he gets caught out with the M4, it's not going to be in vain, as that sets it up for the second player. Still though, LDLC, great round coming out from them. And all the money they can need.
The problem with that circumstance though is that even if you do trade, if the 100 HP player can get the kill immediately, your chances in a 2v4 or 2v3, whatever it was going to be, are way higher than a 1vx. It's just so much easier on Inferno to have someone to be able to distract at a latter point. So, you can see the difference in philosophy coming in there.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, there is surprisingly enough a difference in economy now. Developed Gambit youngsters, despite being up 6-3, don't really have the money to be able to continue buying in. So LDLC have a chance to solidify some of that economy that was lost before. Nafani, however, good to pick up that AK.
Great flashbang. Unfortunately, though, he wasn't able to pick up both kills. Nafani now with that AK, of course, being a much bigger threat. Luckily for them, though, there is no armor on the Gambit YNG side. The bomb slowly making its way towards B as Inters tries to be the first point of contact. Afro, though, he's been really great on fetching that information, because as soon as he finds that first player, he can back off, he can play passively and wait for Body's rotation. Ooh, I like this from Gambit YNG. They've given away information to Afro. He's allowing them to think that they're going towards B, and now their eyes are dead set on A. Coming around the corner now, Lambert being the first point of contact. He'll have a lot of work to do, and Axel is... Ooh, that got me a little confused there, because that's a bit of team damage coming out, and Lambert is there to pick up the pieces. He set it up nicely for the team kill, so I'm gonna go ahead and award him all those kills.
It got very close for LDLC. If they lost 3 players there, then you start to sweat a little bit more, because nice breakdown from him though at the end of the day. Even if he did get it slightly sloppy in the middle. Gambit youngsters are not facing off against a double op, which could actually end up working very well for them, because so far LDLC have been playing a little bit more aggressively with these M4s than with the ops, and when you've got Shiro on an AWP, you can actually shut down that aggressive much more easily. Nafani is the first one to actually do that though, and he doesn't need an op for that.
Yeah, that's where getting a little bit too aggressive can get you punished when the T side is going for a default setup where you have a little bit more focus towards second mid. Nafani, though, still sticking to his gun. No early aggression coming out from the T side, as they're expecting LDLC to fish for information to clear out the advantage, to potentially bring in the equalizer. Again, Afro trying to bring the numbers ever so close. They realize that they've pretty much lost this duel unless they can get the early advantage, and Gambit YNG realizes this. Oh, Afro, is he about to get CSGO though? Because there's one player coming in up the stairs. Is he gonna check that though?
gosh, Afro, he backs off. He could have lined them all up, and that might be what changes everything. It seemed like they had a chance, but with Afro getting that aggressive, they seem to have made up their mind that it's time to go over towards B. Flashbangs and smokes are going to cut off any assistance from CT, and although Lambert tries to peek out early, Axel's not even brought down. Sixer flashed up completely. Axel to take down Lambert, and Sixer has to back off. There's no way he can get this. And it will just be another instance of the CT side saving Gambit youngsters up to 7. And that, oh man, I feel so bad for Afro. He could have literally won them the round right there.
Yeah, having that lineup, but the problem in this kind of circumstance is that when you immediately see 3 players, it's hard for your brain to register that, okay, none of them are looking my way. I can actually get those kills. So I understand a bit of the panic there because he has like half of a second to register that information and go for a play. So he goes for the safer one and he backs off. But safety is not what they needed then. They needed the gamble to potentially get the round. And that's exactly the privilege that Gambit youngsters needed to be able to freely take control of the B-bomb site. Now with Gambit youngsters on 7 points, they've made a pretty good case for the T side. Obviously, being a relatively weaker side compared to the CT, and now they're pretty much playing for bonus points here. They can even go to double digits if they'd like. The money's definitely not stopping them. On the other hand, though, LDLC down to their knees in terms of economy. Still quite a bit of utility to work with, though. Afro.
I mean, you say down to their knees, but they have a double
yeah,
up every second round. It's like they're playing in, I don't even know what year they're playing in. The CT economy was never this strong. It's really a nice sign, though, of how much they have managed to save continually. And yes, there have been a fair few rounds which have lent themselves towards this exact circumstance coming up, but Gambit youngsters, ordinarily when you're seeing them up 7-4, 6-2, all these score lines, you're probably thinking, oh yeah, CT economy is screwed. They just don't. LDLC always has a buy, and Afro is about to reveal that very fact. His AWP is ready, very close range angle, but the flashbang will result in him missing the shot, even though he tried to time it.
Oh, he's still holding the close angle, though. He's banking on someone pushing through. He's seen the setup before where Shiro just guards the player that's up close. Because that's what Gambit Young has been doing for quite a bit now. Molotov rolls out to knock Afro out of position, but it shouldn't matter too much because Gambit making their way towards mid now. Flashbang rolls out, but Lambert is not able to capitalize on that. That leaves it just to Sixer should they decide to push through. Holding that angle with the AWP, the flashbang to knock him out of position. And that's the shot missed. Axel has already made his way all the way up towards short, and the pit player will only get 1 before he gets taken down. Sixer making good use of that AWP, but not for long. Body and Afro on that retake now. Bomb going down, player repositioning towards mid, and that just leaves Afro.
Afro started off nicely, gets the first. Supra, however, in the backlines can... Oh, baby Supra. You like to see some of that action coming in. He even gets his pick of the litter with the op skin that he wants, but that is just insult to injury. And if there was anything that was going to end LDLC's economy, it was going to be a knife to the back of Afro. Let's be very honest. Now you can see them. Loss bonus is 2,900. They're sitting on 2.2k apiece. That is not a double op economy. You know, if LDLC, that's your win condition.
We're back to 2020 economy.
Yeah, you're back to CT side. You're done cosplaying as a terrorist. Nades are flying in deep. Supra already down in Mexico has found himself 1, 2, and the third. It'll be a 5 versus 2 though, and very quickly it turns to a 5v1. The CTs are presenting themselves to Gambit youngsters on a silver platter.
Yeah, those nades just did not work out for them. If anything, that they made things worse because the information was there that they're now pushing towards mid. Gambit now almost on double digits. They just need 1 point to pretty much seal the deal. But we have yet to see LDLC's T side though, so the question would always remain whether or not they can perform phenomenally on the T side.
I'm willing to say that they need to have at least 5 rounds, though. I'm willing to say that. I think I could be wrong, but I think they need at least 1 more round. Because then you can start talking about pistol, you can start talking about this and that and everything, but oh goodness, Six is making a good argument for that additional round to come through. Haji as well on the other side. He has moved past. Can he find those kills? Body is proving to be a very solid distraction, but Haji's not given a chance regardless.
This is great positioning from Haji though, because their focus, their entire tunnel visioning prospect is towards body, and that allows Haji to slip through the cracks, and he picks up that kill. Unfortunately for him though, he isn't able to get anything more off of that despite the excellent position. 4 versus 2 though. That is the advantage that they needed, and Body being ever so successful in his peaks towards second mid. He's picked up a second. Hero now left in a 1 versus 4.
Oh.
I don't think this is doable, especially because Haji is still coming around the back lines, and there it is. 5th round on the board for LDLC, and now I think they actually have some leeway back into the game.
Haji heard the scoping sounds towards the very end of there, otherwise Shiro could have potentially had a bit more economic damage. That being said though, that first peek from Sixer coming down directly into mid, bunny hopping forward and getting the first aggressive peek into second mid with the AWP, that was beautiful. And that just makes your heart feel happy. Of course, maybe not if you're a Gambit Youngsters fan.
We tried to go for that again, but Gambit Youngsters, they want to deny that, so immediately with the flashbang, Sixer is pushed back off, but Lambert will still push through. Around the smoke, Afro will have quite a bit of work on his hands, at least until the backstab can come through from Lambert. I think Enters recognizes as though he's waiting for Lambert, but Lambert still catches him as the smoke is dissipating. Body comes around the corner now on Banana, and he's shut down Exile. Supra and Nafani left in a 2-on-4 off of the beautiful play from Lambert, who was always hiding in the shadows, playing around the smoke.
That was so nicely done because, like you mentioned, they were expecting potentially another time that there could be some sort of aggression towards second mid. The flashbang they threw was to blind and take the fight with anyone peeking into second mid. Lambert just says, "Hell no! I'm not restricting myself to that." He barrels down towards the very end of mid, and now Supra and Nafani are left in a 2 versus 3 because of that. Supra has been given a bit of a chance, but that flashbang being missed is actually very big. It does... Oh, Afro. Posted up on top of the broken wall. I don't think there's a world where Super can win this. There just isn't the time to try and maneuver, but he will attempt to go for it, though.
Yeah, it is the last round of the first half. LDLC look to be taking 6 rounds, and with only 15 seconds on the clock, if he can quickly get this duel, then he might actually have a shot. But to have to clear out all of these angles, very tough prospect. Ooh. And Haji will be there to say no. I'm sorry, sit down. We're taking 6 points.
This is suddenly very doable for LDLC now. Like I said before, I wanted to see a minimum of 5, but give them 6. And let's not forget, the first pistol round probably should have been a win for LDLC, if not for Shiro somehow bringing up the decoy gymnastics.
Yeah, I think we need to address the elephant in the room. I mean, earlier on you said that names change the outcome of the game. I mean, they've got 6 points, Sixer. Like, I mean, there has to be some theory crafting.
Let's talk about the fact that Shiro has 17 kills in the first half, though. And the question that always comes up is, can they continue that? Can you get that again on the CT side? Because switching over can be a very difficult position for someone who's having a hot streak of form, but Shiro is just spamming, and that spam does connect. Shiro looking for more. Afro's already connected onto his teammate. Shiro is continuing to spam away, but will not find the second. It's instead Afro to come through and capitalize. Inters does stop the bomb from being planted at the very least, so 3 versus 3 will continue to be somewhat in the favor of the CT side because of Lambert's HP, but can the T's move past and shut down a player before they get the bomb plant?
Yeah, this is so nicely set up for both sides. I mean, the one advantage that the CTs do have is the bomb. Nafani, though, coming around the corner, they're expecting this. The double peek comes through. Inters picks it up and a second. Body now left in a 1 versus 3. Can he replicate what Shiro did? He's picked up the first, has the bomb, but it'll be very difficult to maneuver around this perfect double peek setup from Nafani and Inters. 10 points on the board for Gambit Young.
Gambit Youngsters, I don't know, man. That first kill from Shiro where he's just machine gunning the USB into the smoke, that was dirty. Again, he did get a lot of damage in. towards a few other players as well. But the important kill, of course, does come through from Inters, who's able to stop the bomb from being planted. And then after that, it's just a question of quick taps, taps, taps. However, LDLC... Man, this is honestly like... I don't know what world I'm living in. The T side is enforced buying. The CT side has money. Like... What kind of dystopian, utopian, like, Counter-Strike are we watching?
Remember that clock I gave you? What year did you set it to?
Maybe 2021, because this never happens. Of course, LDLC do still have to come through and show us that their method is the right method, and they've got to win the the game for that. Shiro to take down Lambert. This is very much the MP9 show from Gambit YNG. These three MP9s are going to be very happy to find this many unarmored opponents. Already you can see Int is the only person to steal a gun away and to steal a kill away. And realistically, you know, Wild 80, it's an M4A1. Let it have the kills you can find.
Yeah, because it's not going to get any kills when it's required. So...
To anyone who's watching the broadcast and is new to us, we are on record as avid haters of the M4A1. I think the M4A4 is better in every single way.
M4A4 for life. You know, the funny thing is, even when the M4A1S was way more
Let's
overpowered,
not go that far.
Like, I was still using the M4A4 because I just liked the feel of it.
Let's not go that far.
Listen, man, you might be a supporter because of logic and reasoning, but I'm a diehard fan. LDLC though.
Okay, you can go back. LDLC instead of sure, man. You do you. Why not? Both teams are nice. They exist.
Oh yeah. Body though, is he gonna find the kill on the player boosted up top?
A lot of pressure is being dedicated towards Gambit youngsters inside pit and mini pit. They're waiting for the entry points to come in. Beautiful timing on that nade, but it doesn't do any damage. It was maybe just a little bit short. Otherwise, it looked like they would have been able to do a lot more. Shiro doesn't realize that they've already moved through. Nice little pop flash, but it doesn't quite line up the way he wanted it to. Inters is waiting while this wall of smokes will be blocking him off. Inters is just waiting for them to be coming through. I don't know if this is intentional, but that wall of smokes, that tiny little gap that's left through for Afro to pair into is very cool. Afro is going to continue forward. He's very afraid of anyone inside the pit area, but it's Axa dancing around Pillar to take one down. Shiro and Inters to find a few more of their own. And it's a 3 versus 2 despite the inferior buy of the CT side. Hachi and Body can plant the bomb, but can they keep a hold of this bomb site?
2-on-3, the retake. Not favoring the T side, but they can play off of these angles. They can cover each other here. One playing from Graveyard, one from the mini pit. Oh, they're taking quite a bit of time. This might be what costs them. Shiro moving in first with the UMP. Haji catches one. The lineup is there. He catches the second as well. Well, it's actually Body that catches the first, but now his position is given away. Nafani tapping the bomb. He comes around the corner. He's boosted on top of the box, but Body with only 4 HP is able to put him down. LDLC winning that despite the numbers disadvantage.
That was crazy from Body. He is sitting on 13 kills right now. He's top fragging for his team. He was the player we highlighted out to be the pop-off boy on LDLC, and you can see why. He just keeps his wits about him on the clutch, counts to 4 under his breath, peeks out, and he's ready for the duel, despite it being a bit of an off angle. Now, though, Shiro hopping down towards mid. He is
Shiro. Almost got that too.
Yeah. Looked like he would have. Nade coming through isn't too bad, but Nafani has already inflicted quite a bit of damage towards these T-signed players on Banana. Flashes flying through. They're getting ready to rain in. They've walked past Supra. They don't realize he's there. And Supra, Hobbit is under his control. The Shire is his. And Body, can he be the Lord of all the rings? He will not find the kill. Inter's next to frag. And it is looking to be impossible. The 2 versus 4 is on. Flashes to fly through. CTs still have utility. And Supra is able to scatter these players. Supra has kept this site under lock and key completely. Lambert finally takes him down, but it's definitely too little too late. He's got to pull off a hero play for this 1v3.
He started off nicely, though. Put himself in a 1 versus 2, but Shiro is watching from the back lines. He's trying to hold on to this bomb. Backs away, hoping that his teammate can pull through. Comes around the corner. Axile with his aim ever so sharp will be putting Lambert in his grave. 12-7 Gambit YNG. That was so nicely played by them, especially by Supra. And the thing is, had he not gotten that player in Hobbit, he could have capitalized on it further, because that's one of the positions, like one of the very circumstantial positions where the M4A1S can actually shine through. If you let players cross, then it'll be a while before they notice where they're getting shot from.
Also, especially because, you know, there's smokes everywhere, there's chaos, he's able to stay inside the smoke. They're not expecting him to be there at the same time. So, yes, that's literally the one place where the M4A1S is potentially an alright gun. I still prefer the M4A4. But LDLC 7-12, and although they have found themselves one round, that was of course a 1 versus 1, and we know what they say about 1v1s and economy, and we also know what they say about SMGs and economy. They quite help out when you've got them getting kills.
The nade's not quite working out for the T side. It should pretty much be a bloodbath as Devani and Supra spray them down. It's a little sad to see too, because if those nades were just a second earlier, they would have gotten that player pushing through with the MP9, and Nafani's still alive. He backed off to safety.
Yeah, Haji is about to find out that safety is safety just a word in the dictionary for him. Unfortunately, it is not something you'll be finding anytime soon. LDLC still not on full money, still not quite having that magic $4,900 that you want for the Molotov, flashes, everything. You can see it doesn't look like much, but it can start to really rack up. Haji without any utility, Afro with no flashes. All in all, you've only got 5 flashes, so getting control of Banana is very difficult with that, just that much. Supra pushing. He looked to be making a quick play down to 8.
Inching their way through now. The utility has been deployed. Body coming around the corner. His first point of contact will be this player with the MP9 in arches. Spraying away, though. The close range duel always favoring the ever-powerful SMGs. Gambit YNG, they've gotten the advantage now. They just need to play this passively because the ball is in their court. The T side have to find these angles.
Oh.
And on the other bomb side, meanwhile, Shiro is making quick work of them. But Sixer has something else to say. Quick little headshot to shut down the AWP, and the bomb has already made its way towards B. The fake has been sold, and they will buy it. Hook, line, and sinker as the CTs rotate in with one player from the terrorist side still waiting in the back line, still waiting on mid, and now the retake will start to come through.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot coming out from him simultaneously with Haji chiming in with a kill off his own as well. CTs seem to be pushed back into a place where their money is no longer on the side that they would like. I actually can't tell exactly how much money Shiro has. I don't know if you can. I think it's about that 3k mark. Yeah, it's around the 3k mark. Okay, so they have a buy with these 2 weapons saved up, but I don't think they'll have full utility. The ops out of the question, obviously, but I don't think they'll have full utility or even potentially full
How many
rifles.
players did they save just now?
2.
Okay. That's why they have the AK, okay.
Yeah.
Shiro, though, I mean, look at that. The beautiful augmented display floating around on Inferno, making Shiro look all the more impressive. Because, I mean, if you just press tab right there, that doesn't matter. If you have this floating display, though, that's what makes the difference. That's what makes you shine as a player.
And that's why he has 24 kills.
Hero though, getting up close with a beagle, will not get to pad his tats any further. 2 for 2. CT side not coming out on top.
CT side still probably okay with that. The AK is in a relatively retrievable position if they wish to push into apartments. Now a little bit less so, but the MP9 really nicely positioned to get 1, maybe even 2 kills of a hair. I would love to see Inters actually step onto the railing so he can drop off if need be. Lambert's going to be coming around this corner soon enough, but he just goes left directly. That'll be making it very difficult for Inters, but Inters catches all the bomb mid-air, even helps Nafani for the second. Sixer, who's left with just an AWP, is in a 1 versus 2. He may not realize it though, but the players are coming over from short. He's ready and waiting for long. Another Molotov is there, but they've already pushed past. Have they? No. They moved into boiler. So Sixer, the question is he expecting this? Yes, he is, but he can't get the kill. Great awareness, but Nafani's positioning is even better, and he is there even before Sixer can expect it. So 14th round is there for Gambit Youngsters. Comes off the back of an early 2 for 2 trade across the map. Very nicely done, and then you just have the MP9 playing from balcony.
Nafani was really trigger happy there too. I mean, immediately on that shoulder peek, you saw that Sixer was not going for a committed peek. He just wanted to get a little bit of information before he committed to the bomb site, but Nafani is there to say goodbye to his head, straight, just ripped off of his body.
It's also really easy to wallbang that wall, so...
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
Hero, though, gets very aggressive towards mid. He stops the push before it happens, and the Molotov will come through as well. The CT's already with the advantage. Now, the terrorist side, LDLC, man, they've got quite a bit of work to do. And as we said before, Inferno was the X factor, and now it's time for some of that experience to pull through if they want to make it back. Axile gets shut down, but Inters is around the corner playing from Cubby. He's good for 2 with the M4A1S2. Lambert and Afro now left all alone. Not even on the bomb side. That's the problem. The bomb still needs to come in through apartments. Afro tapping away is not able to find Inters, who has added a 3rd kill and a 4th. Just making the M4A1S community proud.
Inters is just standing up and screaming out represent into the air right now with those kills. He is rocking it. And sure, it does look like at times LDLC are making it a little bit too easy for him in some of these positions where they're being caught out, but you can't take anything away from what he's been able to do. Shiro, aggressive again, does land a shot, but he can't get the kill. Instead, it's Supra on the other side. That's what you wanted an M4A4 Supra. Nafani, he does have one, so watch him be a stud. He'd go. Okay, thank God. He gets that kill. Right there, smokes himself off, waiting for them to push through. Haji's actually able to dap him through new box right there with the AWP, lines it up, gets it done perfectly. I thought that was just a Tech 9 getting the kill, but no. It's Haji on the op.
Gambit Young, they've already gotten 15. Can they get past the finish line? LDLC, though, they're blocking it with this 1 round. They've gotten the bomb down, and now the question remains, are they going to go for the save or the retake? Seems like they're pretty committed on the retake, and Axel and Inters are the men for the job. They've pulled through before, and now they're trying to pull through again. 2 players on new box, 1 on coffin. A bit of a crossfire setup, but Inters there with 2 quick taps to the head. Afro will be taking down another player peeking out from new box. The body's position is now given away. Inters going ham again, and now Haji is left all alone to fend for his life, and there it is. I didn't notice the bomb there for the longest time, but Inters, man, that was still good. That was still great for him.
I just heard the beep beep beep. I thought someone put a turret stopwatch on. 15-9 though, still a long way to go for LDLC on this mountain.
Listen, man, I cast right next to a microwave, so you never know.
LDLC's been given a full control over Banana early on. This is really surprising. And Supra's just jiggle peeking this repeatedly. If he gets taken down a bit, if he gets even if he gets spotted out at this point, It is going to be so difficult. Good timing on the nade, though. Does a lot of damage. It should be Nafani to clean them up. M4A 4-time, baby. That's a spray and a half. Gets 3 kills with 1 magazine. Really good stuff from him. And now Supra re-smoking out. Molotov even goes into the back lines. He does get taken down, but it will be Gambit youngsters to be cleaning it all up. Nafani shuts it all down. 4 kills for him at the end of the day. And look at this beautiful spray down. 1, 2, 3. The transfer is perfect. Nafani's precision is on point, and that's what you love to see.
Gambit youngsters pulling through so well. I mean, they were dominant throughout the series. I mean, if anything, LDLC didn't seem like they had much breathing room there.
Well, with that being said, we're going to go to a quick break. When we're back, it will be Overpass, and it'll be Gambit youngsters' map pick. Can LDLC take it to 3 maps? Stay tuned if you want to find out. to bring things back on a map that they are not particularly. It was the fact that they were completely broken in Inferno, but that too. The important thing to keep in mind, though, is that LDLC. The last time they went up against Gambit youngsters, it was a 2-1 in favor of Gambit, but that was with Inferno being won by LDLC. Off the back of a lot of very good individual performances and a few poor ones on the side of Gambit youngsters. Right now, though, I'm scared because Shiro is
to potentially get a little bit of information, actually. Keeps himself just a few inches away from safety. Backs off now. He knows that someone's crossed over towards playground, and that's a little bit of control being established for Gambit youngsters. Not quite got into toilets just yet, though. Playing their default. They're waiting for information to come out from LDLC, which would have come through soon had the angle been held longer from the T side. Axile now backing off. He's not going to be wary to the tricks up LDLC's sleeves.
LDL sleeves, indeed.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for packaging that nicely.
I got you. Don't worry. That's what I do. I work with packages. And I'm delivering you guys a small package and connector because that's what Gambit youngsters is doing. They're just trying to find out where these players are and they're ready to rotate at a dime's notice. Sixer finds a kill and that should be the cue for them to start going towards B. Hachi's trying to intercept and he does find the first headshot. Will be looking for more before backing off. Nafani coming in right behind him, giving chase like it's Fast and the Furious, but Afro comes in and slaps into the side and he says it's for family. A 4 versus 2, and Gambit youngsters are being caught off all over the place, but Inters manages to somehow get the kill. Axel brings it back to a 2v2, but Inters is very swiftly going to find himself alone.
They've got the bomb down, though. 1 versus 2, still doable, but he needs to be tapping heads very soon. Oh, that Molotov, it completely destroys everything, and they're going to go after him. I'm not sure why they didn't just stick to the bomb, especially now that he's knocked out of position, but Inters, having rotated from short, he doesn't find the first shot. He eventually does, and now he can deny a bomb plant. Bomb defuse, sorry. And there it is. Inters with only 12 HP to work with somehow gets the first round, and this is in very similar fashion to what we saw from Shiro in the previous map. Look at that. Beautifully done. One quick tap to the head. There he is.
Pure insanity. Inters. That was a round where LDLC felt like they had done everything right. The only issue they had was when they missed 5 shots, when Lambert missed the shots on the Inters, and you're thinking, it's okay, whatever, it's a 2v1. It'll be fine. No, it won't be. Despite the Molotov, despite everything being in their favor, they're simply not able to get that job done, and that'll be all she wrote. Now, LDLC will say hello to a force buy. And we don't really know how much they can do with it. Scouts and Deagles are good on overpass. Let's not make any mistakes about it. Long range duels is what this map is all about at times, and those are the weapons to use them for. But who will find out who first? The Mac 10 around the corner. Nafani moving in, trying to catch them off. The smoke will be there, but he moves past Divider early, and that means Hanji.
Ooh, it's going to be a very tough spot for him to be in, up against the Mac 10, and he will soon fall. Now they're making their way towards the A side. 2 opposing angles, Lambert and Body with the MP9 and the Deagle. Can they stop this push from coming through? They seem committed. The flashbang comes out. Lambert picks up the first. Body picks up the second. And the T's are slowly being decimated before they make their way into the bomb site. But all hope is not lost. Supra coming out wide. Does not catch it with the UMP. Sixer being on point with his aim. That just leaves Inters and Shiro. But Inters will be left all alone. Crying out loud. Because now he's left alone and... oh well. Half reserve for the flank. What can you even do about that?
Oh well. Very apt representation of what just happened there. LDLC able to squeak through the force by Gambit youngsters on the other side are going to try and do the same. You see them being caught off by the rotation of Nafani moving forward with the Mach 10 earlier, and although Haji dies, the smoke that was laid down by the player in Optimus, that changes everything right there then. And unfortunately, it doesn't quite work out for them. Now, over here, Haji waiting for the push to come through. MP9 at the ready, gets 1 and 2. So, easy cleanup early on, but Inters turns it around and takes 6 set down. A 4 versus 3 ensues. But the terrorist side, they have found some space. Can they find kills off the back of it? Nade flies in, Lambert. That one wasn't really going to find anyone, but Axel's better than just that. Haji's taken down. And it puts it into a 3v3. Money slowly being whittled away up the CT side.
They've put themselves in a good position. They've got armor. So this round is not lost just yet, but it might be as Shiro walks into the crosshairs of body. That's a clean kill with no damage being taken. Comes around long now. Might have the potential of catching Axile off guard. But he has given up some information. He stepped just a little bit. Axile is waiting, but that HP will not support him. Enters. Again, left all alone. 1-on-3. Deja vu ensues. But he's gotten the first pick.
He doesn't have a bomb, though.
Oh, yeah. 28 seconds on the clock, and the bomb. I mean, just running back and forth from that might take 20 seconds.
It's a big map.
Yeah, Overpass, just one of those maps with very long distances to walk around, and I don't think his cardio has been up to par to be able to deal with this. He quickly gets the bomb, but body is there to pick up. Oh, there it is. Clean it up nicely.
He wanted to go down regardless, I think, just because you want to have the loss bonus. They do a lot of damage at the end of the day, so that is something to at least be particularly cheerful about. Haji finding the 2 kills early on will help out his money, but at the end of the day, losing 3 players is not ideal on the CT side. They're relying very heavily on this next round to actually be able to step up, and look at this from Body, man. Nicely done. All in all, just knows his angles very nicely.
LDLC got him their second round on the board. Now, you said earlier that Gambit, they're very good on overpass, but LDLC, they're starting off quite strong, and that might be exactly what they needed to bring it to map number 3. Still very early in the game, though. Quick cleanup from LDLC coming out, and it's good. I mean, you often don't see many players praising these eco rounds being swept up cleanly, but denying them the opportunity to damage the CT side, which is often the one way out that the terrorists have, like that one window of opportunity to be able to damage and slowly weasel your way into rounds. Not allowing that is exactly what LDLC needs to be doing right now.
No, I agree with that, and it's going to be this round onwards where things start to get a little bit hair-raising for any French Counter-Strike fans out there, because if they can capitalize on this, then there's always a second question, which is how many players are you keeping alive? And already you see Axel coming in, taking down the first. 6 is good for 1 and a second, but Nafani breaks away. Do they realize Haji's behind him? Yes, he does. And it's already a 3 versus 2, and things are looking dire for the CT side. Lambert wants to aggress forward, use the MP9 to his advantage. He might not be expecting the player holding the close angle, and although he is, it will not be enough. The trades are good from the terrorist side. They're perfect even. And now in a 2 versus 1, Body, his position is very good, but that's only if he doesn't realize there's a player who is toxic, and that's Axel, who'd already crossed over and on the lurk was just waiting for any sort of information to come in. I think you might have even known that Body was playing from heaven, and as a result of that, a really nice bait play comes out.
Oh yeah. Gambit Young. Sorry, youngsters. I keep forgetting. Okay, I'm a bit of a silly goose in this regard. I keep forgetting if it's young or youngsters, but it is youngsters, just to make that clear. LDLC dropping that round, not exactly the most ideal of situations, and the ballsy play from them coming out, not a single piece of head armor and just a double op setup. I mean, I agree with this because it's better to have utility over head armor, but not a single player. Double up though, let's see if this works out for them. Sixer missing the shot because the flash is there to stop him. Enters though, he is not having any of that from the tree. Shuts down Haji and Sixer peeks around the corner. Pick off enters. That's the 1-for-1 trade. Shiro already being knocked down to 13 points of health, and Gambit youngsters, they seem dead set. They have their eyes locked onto the B site. Slowly moving in now, not giving away any audio information just yet. The flashbang being primed by Nafani to help his teammates push in. Afro, meanwhile, is already pushed up short. That's something that we've seen LDLC do quite a bit, where they pop the smoke early from all the way from A site to allow them to have the mobility to push up close to waters. Now, Axile, not sure if he stepped there just yet, which would have allowed LDLC to reposition themselves and call in for the rotate, but that's not happened just yet. Flashbang comes out, and there it is. Lambert waiting with the AWP. This is the one crucial shot, and he hits it. Molotov rolls out to try to deny the T's from getting up close and personal. That gives Lambert just one angle to watch while Afro comes in to clean up around short. Shiro though, he's only on 13 points of health, and I mean, what can you do? They're going for the straight up defuse, and well, Shiro, good decision from him to just back off because he still gets the round loss bonus. 4-2. LDLC, despite the fact that it looked a little bit shaky there, but their money was starting to fall. They had to go for that double op setup. They're now back on their horse. Still the money not... Amazing performance in the previous game. And meanwhile on Gambit YNG, we're not really seeing the pop-off happen quite yet. No player really standing too far apart from the rest of the scoreboard. Nafani taking quite a bit of damage here towards short as Lambert gets aggressive. Ooh, that monster play might be what cost them. They've already lost 2 players on the B-bomb site, and this puts LDLC in the position where they will have to go for a bit of a gamble. Starting to get the bomb now. Gambit YNG, they're taking their time. They can choose to be indecisive because they have quite a bit of time on their hands. LDLC though, they've committed towards having 2 players on B and 1 player to fish out information towards long. Bomb still being all the way back. Shiro spots 1, and that is the B site opened up for the taking because there's only 1 player left. Bomb now being recovered. 45 seconds on the clock, so they need to make a play happen now lest it turn into a bit of a chaotic round. Sixer coming around the corner. He should have the lineup here, but unfortunately for him, the player does not seem to be coming out of connector anytime soon. Sixer has his crosshairs on the mark, walks around, is waiting for the monster player to come in, checks short. He almost lands a shot there. Haji chimes in with his M4 and is now left in a 1 versus 2. A very interesting one of that too, because he has the AW. They both have AWPs in their hands. Flashbang rolls out. He tries to jump through the smoke, but there it is. The AWP shot to grant the win for Gambit youngsters. Ooh, this is a very bad situation for LDLC to be in, because even though they had a little bit of success with the double op setup, not being able to capitalize on it more and more, just having 1 flash of success, that means that they have around $2,000 a pop.
It is always a rough time trying to recover from a lost double op economy on the CT side, and although LDLC was able to start off to such a nice pace where, you know, they were up 3-1, you can see a few too many guns lost here and there, 2 versus 1, you know, going the other way, and then a double op comes out and drops down. Suddenly it doesn't look like they have any momentum whatsoever going in their favor. Gambit youngsters, it's actually all about their economy. They can actually start building up after this round.
Oh yeah, but they need this round. They cannot afford to lose this kind of round where LDLC have barely bought up anything. Should be pretty much a throwaway round though, because LDLC, they do not seem to be set up for success here. Gambit youngsters making their way towards long. The bomb is there as well, so their decision has been set. Still like this attention to detail though. Even up against pistols, they're taking their sweet time, and that's exactly what you should do. 40 seconds on the clock though. As the clock starts ticking down, this actually puts them in a position where they're a little bit more favorable, but Supra is there to deny any potential of getting around off of this.
Oh. It looked a little bit touchy towards the end for Axel. I thought maybe someone's just going to turn around and bring him down immediately, but you can see it again from Supra. Like you said, just not letting those pistols get out of hand at all, not give them any hope whatsoever. 4-4 Gambit youngsters have equalized, and again, remember one thing about Gambit youngsters on Overpass is that you are continually on a timer, and that timer is called their terrorist side. Once it gets to CT, once it gets to Sherrowland,
oh yeah,
the AWP, I don't know, man. That's kind of like Disneyland for us, but maybe less so for them.
Hero, definitely an interesting player to watch, but what we're looking for here is the entries from Supra, and he will get it. Lambert falling. B side should be theirs for the taking, because now they only have 2 players to worry about. Afro playing around the pillar. Ooh, he's taking this very carefully. He gets the first. Body follows it up with a P250 as well. And it's a 3 versus 3. Now suddenly doable for the CT side because they're all huddled up towards B. They're playing around the smokes, and this can be a very deadly prospect. Haji being boosted up on the box. Could have gotten something off of that, but unfortunately is not really able to bring anything to fruition.
And there you have it. Gambit youngsters, for the first time since really after the pistol round, they have found themselves in a lead yet again. LDLC want that to be short-lived, but you are going to be asking yourselves, how much can you do going in towards the last vestiges of the half? Because this is where all of that economy that Gambit youngsters are saving up, and you know, the opposite being true for LDLC, this is where all of that really comes into play. Make no mistake about it.
Hero, always being deadly as ever with the AWP. I think it'll come down to the battle of the Oppers. Fixer, if he can find the... Oh, I really like this nade lineup to bring Lambert down to his knees.
It's a great lineup.
Oh yeah, that's quite a bit of damage being done, and it's from the safety of behind Monster, so that puts them in a position where they don't even have to peek out and take the risk of taking the duel of boost, because this is something we see pretty commonly, where you have a team throw an early smoke from towards A with the crane lineup, and then they have a quick boost to try to shut down any push coming through. So nades work out for them beautifully. Sixer though posted up close. He's trying to find the angle towards toilets. Not quite though.
Such a slim angle to go for.
Oh yeah. But I still think it makes sense, because when you're taking control of toilets, oftentimes you're trying not to give up too much audio information, which means that he will still have ample time to take the shot if they decide to walk through it. Yep.
That's true, actually. That is something to always keep in mind whenever you're holding up an angle, I suppose. The other thing always is, you know, if it's a place where someone needs to walk a little bit back and forth around a corner or something like that, you can actually stick a much closer angle than you would be able to otherwise, because the amount of time that someone's going to spend around that corner trying to move is significantly longer. That being said, Afro waiting for them to push in, but he was turned around expecting the push to come from Monster. Instead, it's Supra to fly in from short, take down 3 players, and suddenly LDLC no longer has any hope, even if they had a buy. Haji and Sixer are not going to be left without any sort of contest, though. Haji is going to actually find himself being assaulted from all sides soon enough. The question is, do they expect him to be here? And do they check this out? He did hear the audio cues from them initially, though, so he knows he is safe for now.
The problem, though, is even saving this weaponry will not be enough for LDLC, because look at the rest of their money. At best, what they're looking at is perhaps MP9s, or they're just banking on Sixer hitting those nutty shots towards mid or towards long, but doesn't seem likely that... I actually think it's they're not going to go for a force here.
I agree. I don't think they should.
Yeah, they're gonna try to bank on just saving that AWP.
Yeah. Well, maybe a few deagles, but even those are always slightly difficult to actually deal with. LDLC. Oh, Hachi naded down early on. This could be problematic. He was trying to get aggressive towards Fountain to see what kind of space they can find, but Gambit youngsters, they are already in on this B bomb site. Nafani entering in, taking the man down, and although there's a smoke to assist the CT player of getting back onto the site, how much will that really help? Body as well, despite there being a bit of a one-way, can't use it for himself. And already you can see CT's losing control of that site and probably the round.
Sixer is still trying to hold on to that AWP, and that is a good decision. I mean, what else can they hope for? Afro though, ooh, getting attacked quite a bit. There's the deagle. Yeah, he was just trying to hope for some pot shots here and there, but doesn't seem to have the fortune to be able to pull that off.
I think Super might realize where Sixer is though, because if Sixer scoped in while Super was in the vicinity, unless Sixer was already pre-scoped, which seems unlikely realistically, Super should realize that he was in the vicinity. So I'm just curious about how bloodthirsty are Gambit youngsters feeling? How much blood do they smell in this water?
They have 12k on Shiro and enters.
Look, I want them to hunt. That's yeah. My thing. I generally do not like it when teams don't hunt on the T side if they have that much money. But CTs might just be given a bit of a boon. I guess they don't realize where Sixer is. He must have been pre-scoped, or maybe Super just came in a little bit while later. He was up above towards playground initially, potentially. But, yeah. At the end of the day, LDLC will be able to weasel their way out and save into the next round.
This is a solid terrorist side performance for Gambit youngsters. Shiro still hasn't even come to life. He's only sitting on 5 kills, and he hasn't found the openings for them just yet, and they're still at such a lead. And I mean, you really have to commend Supra. He's been getting entries left, right, and center. I mean, one of those rounds, he was even able to get a triple entry with barely any help. Just a little bit of utility from his teammates.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think Supra and Nafani have both had their moments trying to get in onto the bomb sites, especially. Some credit has to be given to Enters, obviously. Just a few clutches here and there, a few places where you're able to get a few extra kills. It goes a long way. This is the point, though, where LDLC are again playing with fire. Unlike Inferno, I am not going to say a 5th round is all they need. You really do need 6 rounds on CT side on Overpass. Having a T side performance good enough that you can get 9 rounds or potentially 10 if you want to end it in regulation is very difficult. It's just really difficult, especially when you consider how reliant LDLC seems to be on their double op setup. They are going to it time and time again on Inferno. They have gone to it time and time again on an Overpass, and you switch over to the T side, that is just not going to be an option for you there. Yeah,
for a resource heavy team, especially a team that is both resource heavy and they're relying on getting as many rounds on the CT side as possible, the T side is looking like a very difficult ask to pull through. 7-4 though, Gambit youngsters. They, again, the round advantage and the man advantage. Sixer to fall early on, and that's one of the ops erased from existence. Aji and Afro though, getting up close and personal. They've gotten a kill apiece, and Shiro is there to get the equalizer. Axile in the bomb site, gets double peeked. Doesn't quite catch Body, but Body will get him. Nafani to fall as well as Afro pulls towards Monster, and that just leaves Shiro. He's done so much for his team. He gets the first 2 kills, but what more can you ask?
3 more? I mean, you just asked how much I can ask from him. Shiro looking to at least get some damage in there potentially. Up at the ready, peeks out, but it's into 2, and Body will eliminate him. 5th round for LDLC on the board. They are not letting things spiral out of control, and the double op is also kept alive. So LDLC, clinging on for dear life to any semblance of hope that they have of being able to keep themselves in this game. They're very much having some control at the very least. Have to give a mad shout out to Body, although a few of the rounds where he had kills were of course eco rounds. They could have been much more dangerous than they ended up being. So now I want to see Sixer getting more involved. I want to see these ops having more to do, but it's instead Inters who's moved past. Haji was fully blind. Inters as well was completely blinded up by his own teammates' flash. So they both end up walking past, but Inters just recovers from the whiteness in time, and he's able to come out on top as a result of that. Interesting stack. Okay. All right.
Oh, they're going to get so much early information off of that and potentially even the kill.
I can dig that. That's a cool stack.
Luckily for Gambit youngsters, though, that's not where they're headed. They're headed towards A. And the one player that they do have towards B, he's just waiting for the flank. He's just there to cut off any potential rotations. But Axile might actually walk into these crosshairs soon. While there is havoc going on towards the A site, Axile's fighting a little battle of his own. Not one that he knows that he's in yet.
Oh, Shiro takes down Sixer already. And you can see the 5v3 just forces Lambert forward. He's got the first and he's backed off to safety. Repositions, looking for more. The smoke will soon be dissipating, but can he back off in time? The flashbangs aren't catching him off. T-side waiting for their long player to actually come in, but that's also given the CTs enough time to rotate through, so it'll be a full-on brawl over towards A. A flashbang will fight through. Lambert should be blinded by that one, but he misses his initial shot. His position is known. Flash goes out. It blinds up some of the T's as well. Lambert is good for one, but he's got backup for more. Body comes in, and it leaves Axel in a 1 versus 3, which he quickly turns into 1v2. Sees the feet of Body underneath that smoke, but Body is too quick, and he's able to assist. Despite it being a 5 versus 3, timely rotations and a T-side player being slightly out of place on long end up being LDLC's path to victory.
Still 6 rounds, not a great performance on the CT side yet, especially if they drop the rounds after. 8 to 7 is what they're looking for, but man, look at that monstrous performance from Lambert. That is what saved them the round, and they can't be relying on these individual plays to come out on top if they want to convincingly beat out Gambit youngsters on map number 2. LDLC taking a pause now, and I agree with this because every time they go for the double op setup, they seem to not really be able to capitalize on it as much as they'd like to. I mean, out of 3 of the rounds or 4 of the rounds where they've bought the AWPs themselves, they lose the first AWP in like the first 10 or 15 seconds because they're going for that early aggression.
I mean, Lambert looked pretty good in that last round. You gotta admit.
Oh yeah,
Lambert definitely shining through in a few of those moments. Nafani inching in. LDLC in the meanwhile do not have any blood broken, but they have full control over playgrounds with their player pushing through. Shero's good for the first kill. Flashbang flies in. It'll not be catching out anyone on the CT side, but CTs were already looking to... Oh wait, Shero killed his own teammate.
uh-oh.
I just realized that. My bad. I was wondering why I thought maybe the HUD did an update. Never mind, I did an update. He does at least bring it back to a 4v4, but Afro is quick to rectify that, turns it back in their favor. He's saying, if you're being so nice to hand us a kill, I'm just gonna go ahead and take another one for myself.
Indeed, and now Shiro, he's got to dig himself out of the grave that he's put his team into. Slowly but surely coming up connector, though. Lambert's positioning is excellent. He takes down Supra, and he can back off to safety because he has that smoke as well. Quickly pushing towards the A site. Axile, first man in, quickly going for the bomb plant, but they have a monstrous job on their hands because they're up against 4 players. Bomb now going down. Shiro, not very likely that you see him miss a shot, but he eventually does. Probably the panic setting in from the murder of his own teammate. Axile, though, unable to stop the push from Bank. Shiro left in a 1 versus 4, not quite able to catch the no-scope, and he gets taken down by Sixer.
maybe that the Shero curse that I am has finally actually come back into it. I don't know. He's not been having the best of games as it was.
Listen, man, if somebody that has been, if somebody has a consistent 1.25 rating and then you come in and they start killing their own teammates, like, I mean, I feel like you need to connect the dots and realize that you're jinxing him.
Maybe I'm bringing out the real him. You know, I hope not. I really hope not. I always like young Orpes who are flashy and can run around and air strafe really well. That's. Yeah, yes, that is how I describe flashy offers. Haji, early duel goes his way. The trade will not, but it's even surprising the first place that the first one goes for him. Body, the double flashes will come through. He will not be forced backwards just yet. There was a gap in the smoke he was looking to exploit. But the terrorist side, despite having a very solid recovery, they came back to a 7-4, I believe it was, and now LDLC is very much on the cusp of potentially breaking out and coming out on top of the first half. 0. Now would be a good time to make up for that good old kill on Inter Shero.
Oh, yeah.
Your team, that 8th round. Oh, Sixer, however, is also very much making up for past sins in past lives and past matches. He's had a few very good shots over here. Has been overly passive at times as well. I will absolutely say that, but recovery later on has been stellar. 4 versus 3 with 40 seconds left on the clock. Gambit youngsters do not have many options of where to go.
For a second there, we thought that they would be able to reel this round back in, but with 30 seconds on the clock, seems more and more difficult. Supra, though, oh, he could have caught that kill. Body knows exactly where he is. Sneaking up behind him. As soon as he goes through the door, Afro is there to grade him. The flashbang won't matter. Lambert, flash, but he sticks to his guns. Immediately drops down into the water, but with only 10 seconds on the clock, they need to get on it. They need to get on this case soon. Nafani takes down Lambert. Axel getting up on top of the box. He gets the kill. Nafani tries to plant the bomb, but that's going to be the round for LDLC. 2 seconds too late. And there it is. LDLC somehow taking the first half away from Gambit youngsters despite what it may have seemed like earlier.
The odd thing is neither team really has anyone popping off. It has very much been a calm, cool, collected game other than a few team kills here and there at times that did accidentally come through. But just, I'm looking at the numbers and everyone's sitting around that 10 average mark. Body's slightly better, sitting at about 13 or so. But other than that, I don't know. And this is the funny thing. Gamba youngsters, we expect them to at least have one player who's popping up always, be it Axile or Shero. But let's wait and see whether or not that will change, as the halves do already. Some players scouted out on the terrorist side. They've got utility on 2 sets of them. What is the plan from Axile? He has got information on these players coming over.
The bomb is going towards A, and seems like they're pretty committed, but wait a minute. Going down connector now. Bit of a bamboozle coming through.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I feel like they're more interested in confusing us than anything else, but now the utility goes towards A. Supra trying to fight off these 2 angles. Oh. He gets 2 quick kills. Those are nice stabs to the head. Can he make it more? No, he will immediately go down, and now Axile has 3 players to contend with. Spamming away with the USB. He's not going to catch one, but Nafani will. 2 versus 3. These players need to chime in as soon as possible, and that leaves Lambert in a 1-on-3, which doesn't last too long as he's picked up. 8-8, Gambit youngsters tying up the scoreline now, and this best round is something that they needed really bad. Supra though, man, what a play by him, so clean. I was taken aback there because for a second there I thought he wasn't gonna be able to get it.
Oh, he was very much caught off guard by the flashbangs, and because of that, you weren't expecting him to get the player on long at the very least. But the quick taps in succession is reminding us what a player he can be and what a player he absolutely is. Gambit youngsters are still lying in wait and not getting overly aggressive against LDLC. But even though LDLC have shown that they actually do quite like to go for these full ecos, this time Gambit is not in a great position to punish. They only have one SMG, and Shiro's found one kill early on with that scout. It's a nice little shot to the dome, but Axel's just getting aggressive, trying to make sure that Shiro himself doesn't lose his armor, Shiro doesn't lose too much, and they all in all will keep their players alive. T-side not having much to offer at the end of the day. I think the terrorists are not going to have Molotovs because of that. Are they?
Yeah, they're going to have a couple, but for that, they'll have to make a few sacrifices. I mean, Afro not having a smoke, no flashes on him. Lambert pretty much the only one that's locked and loaded.
And he's got a Galil, so...
Oh yeah, he had to sacrifice his AK-47, so... Bit of a shoddy buy across the board, but nothing that they can't crawl out of. Gambit youngsters obviously being on the CT side despite winning the round.
Oh...
That nade, spicy as ever. Sixer is knocked down to 9 HP as well. LDLC already before the round even starts. I mean, 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. They've pretty much lost 2 players, but you can't count a player like Sixer out just yet. Hero, though, now on the CT side, finally gets to flex his muscles a little bit, as he has the advantage of being able to use the scoped rifles more in a better context, at least.
They're coming down long as well, so this is very much Hero's time to shine. Is he going to be checking this? It seems like he won't see anyone because they've already crossed past towards the far left side for them. Far right side for Shiro. Smokes come in. He will have to deal with a slightly closer range assault. A flashbang will allow Axel to get aggressive and cut off the bomb. Shiro is now ready with the P250. He'll be swinging out with that soon enough. Lambert's caught out. The AK-47's on the ground. Shiro will pick it up and finish off the job. Ready, we had a slightly quiet first half. He is ready to go into the second one. Guns and hearts blazing.
But yeah, as you said earlier, I mean, for LDLC, one of the biggest threats they have was how they would piece together 8 or 9 rounds when they'd be on the T side. I mean, for Overpass, especially against a team like Gambit Youngsters, when they have such a talented offer in the name of in the form of Shiro, that's just a very difficult prospect. 10-8 now, though. Gambit Youngsters putting themselves in a very good position here. LDLC, on the other hand, not very often you see that the T side is down in terms of economy.
Oh, Axel's already eliminated a body. Typically, French teams across history have always had this one aspect about them, which is that they're just incredibly good at force buys, and that's been such a big X factor across the years. Unfortunately, you can't say that's entirely true from LDLC, and it seems like they know it. Shiro, aggressive over here, already finding himself the second and third kills for the CT side. Second kill for him right now, and LDLC, you're not seeing magical moments of Deagles and Tech 9s coming out. The fire, honestly, like, that is my concern for LDLC. Whenever I see them play, who is going to be the big boy fragger? And so far, it's not really seemed like it'll be anyone. Afro gets a nice deagle shot in there, so maybe it's his time to start stepping up and shining. And everyone had their moments. Everyone has their moments, absolutely. Lambert came through with the secondary op at times. He had a few great rounds. Sixer had a couple of good rounds here and there too, but they're doing it by committee largely, and that's generally just not good enough in Counter-Strike unless your committee is pretty damn good. Like you know, the extreme example is Team Liquid.
Generally, what I like seeing on teams is when they have pretty good players across the board, and then they also have that X factor. Like, they have a star player in their back pocket that can shine at any time. And for LDLC, it doesn't really seem to be the case, because even when Gambit Youngsters, they weren't pulling off a stellar performance in the first half, even when they weren't playing to perfection, they still had decent play all across the board, so they didn't really have much of a bottleneck. And then they also have the firepower of Shiro sometimes come into play, or Axile go wild. And that's something that's really nice to see from teams. Unfortunately, we don't see that coming through from LDLC, which is exactly what I feel like they're missing right now against Gambit youngsters.
Well, the question is, can someone rise to the occasion? They do have the tools. That's for sure. They've got the experience. You already highlighted that. They have got to materialize those now. Early on, their default is largely focused around getting fountain control, some connector control over here. But on the other side, you've already seen Gambit youngsters get all the information towards the monster tunnels. So what does that mean? Are we going to see rotations coming through from the CT side early on to abuse the terrorists on A? It largely depends on the information Axel is able to get. He is waiting to give a cue to his teammate to give him a flashbang as well. Flash will be coming in soon, but he doesn't have time to wait for it. Nafani can't throw it out in time, and now they're all coming his way. He's only good for one, and Sixer trades away immediately. A 4 versus 3, and the CTs are not going to attempt to go for this. The first kill not being found by Axel changes things completely. Unfortunately, I think he thought that they would have had time for Nafani to chuck out the flashbang earlier on, but it simply was not the case. He was completely blinded up for a second, and by the time that flashbang came, he was already dead.
Yeah, good decision from Gambit youngsters to go for the save, though. Shiro needs to hold on to that AWP if he wants to make a dent in LDLC in the upcoming rounds. That's a good play from LDLC, though, that capitalizing off that flashbang. And when you have no players coming in from long, then even though you don't have the advantage of having two opposing angles, Gambit youngsters, they don't know that. They're not sure if there's anyone coming in from long. So having that in the back of your mind and still having, having that in the back of your opponent's mind and still having all of your players coming in from toilets, that can work out often in terms of firepower.
You need something a little bit extra though now. You need some spikes from LDLC. That was good. That was definitely a good round, a good call coming out from them if they realize how Axel likes to play there. Because they did, of course, get flashed up earlier on and have their bomb dropped by Axel a couple of rounds ago. But now, look at what we see. Very quickly, they go over towards B. Supra waiting for them to come in. Just chucks out a flash, knows that they're coming, and he immediately backs off. Haji on the other side is chasing, though. And he's already come up with 1 and 2. Nafani does the save, and he's not dead yet. As I say that will change. Afro takes him down. A 3 versus 2. CTs are trying to reclaim and recover, but Axel will not be allowed to deny that bomb from being planted. USB to be pulled out. Not too many bullets. It's just the one. And Shiro, once again, completely avoided on the map. He is not given any action. And there you have it. 2 excellent kills from Hachi on the entry.
Oh yeah, LDLC looked in control of that round, easily able to get the bomb site. And despite the fact that Nafani had a little bit of work done to help his teammates get back into the round, unfortunately it didn't come to anything. Even though Axel and Shiro are generally the ones you want in a retake situation. 11 to 10 though. LDLC putting themselves in a good spot for making it a comeback, especially on the T side. Right now, what they're hoping for is to break down the economy of the CT side as much as possible, because that is their one window of opportunity back into this game, and it seems like they might be doing just that. This is one chance that the CTs get again at building up a decent economy.
I think Super in the beginning might not be the greatest. There's a lot of team damage going on in the Gambit youngsters side. Some mutiny might be occurring. Nade flying through will not do any sort of significant damage. East side is not really giving it up information now, Wild 80. This is getting tough for them to try and work around from the CTs. They're just hoping for someone to walk into their crosshair, and the rotation's been cheated back to the A side very early on. Supra smoking off, trying to block out the monster tunnel, but he's already been brought down. Afro had crept forward without being noticed, and he is able to get the kill. Now Inja's forced to defend, but he puts away his gun at the wrong time, and that means that the CTs are again and again and again and again going to be forced back onto a save. Haji he could even try and hunt them down. Nafani, in the meanwhile, making his way over, just making sure that if anyone is going to try and hunt, he can at least try and get the first deal before backing off.
Gambit youngsters no longer looking like the impenetrable wall that they once were on the CT side. Unfortunately for them, it just doesn't feel like they have any control of the B site. LDLC, on and on, they seem to be able to get these entry frags at their wish. Doesn't seem like Gambit youngsters have an answer to this. Sure, they're able to save, they're able to live to see another day with weaponry, but what does that really amount to? Nothing just yet. I think LDLC actually have the advantage now, because look at the amount of money they've built up. If they can pull off something crazy with the AWP, I'm sorry, but this is kind of looking like map number 3 is coming through.
Map 3 is definitely in the cards again. LDLC, you can see that their entry players have somehow stepped up. Afro and Haji in particular having a few rounds where they just walk in being unnoticed and find themselves all the kills they need. Gambit youngsters' B-side setup seems to be particularly susceptible to early T-side advances because they're not going for any sort of map control towards short. They're not really going for any sort of map control on A to try and mitigate that either. And LDLC look to try and exploit it yet again. Why fix what's not broken? Well, it might be because Axel's ready to break it. Finds that first kill and quite a bit more damage being done.
Body with that first kill. That's the entry that LDLC needed. Lambert already falling. The CT side now on the disadvantage. Gambit youngsters, they might just go for a gamble here. 2 players towards B, 2 players towards A, so they're still holding on to their horses, and with the bomb positioning that suggests that they're probably going towards B, and Axel is already taking down Haji, so that's starting to seem a little bit more likely. Molotov and quite a bit of utility flowing out. Now the T's starting to push in, 2 from Monster and 1 from short.
Well, Nafani's looking to take the duel, but a flashbang will blind it out completely. There's an anti-flash as well. Nafani, though, he can't connect onto the second player, although he is good for 1. 4 assists 2, and despite Gambit youngsters seemingly being in a deficit, they have very much brought it back, and they will continue to do so. Gambit not ready to relinquish that lead, and Sixer has his shot baited out, only to be brought down. 3 players kept alive. Gambit youngsters, sure, the terrorist side may have the economy, but they are not ready to give up the round advantage just yet.
Gambit youngsters nipping it in the bud, immediately getting the round advantage after the scoreline is tied up. LDLC not looking too comfortable anymore.
Ooh,
and because of the way they buy up, it actually puts LDLC in a position where they can still lose control of their money, which is a little surprising to see. Gambit youngsters, they've gotten a little bit of damage done here, not too much though. Trying to get control here towards mid, but so are the T side. 3 players towards long. Shiro is forced to back off with the flashbang. He'll go for the repeat. Not quite, actually, as he just tries to fish for information and backs off, which is the correct play to make. I mean, you don't want to be peeking 3 players at once.
Sometimes you do if you're Shiro.
Oh, yeah. With the flashbang, too, so.
Yeah, there is that. But look at this, Afro and Body, they are trying to creep in yet again. However, Haji and Lambert are swiftly taken down. A Molotov will creep through. Intas knows they've already moved past. He needs some help, and that help comes in the form of the secondary AWP that the T's were not expecting. Suddenly, Sixer is very lonely. And you know what they say, the cure to loneliness is joining your friends, trying to meet them. Unfortunately for Sixer, that also involves having his round score not really move up. 13th round seems inevitable for Gambit youngsters, and Sixer is happy to hand it to them.
Wouldn't say he's happy to hand it to them.
Well,
but
that's
he's forced
true.
to hand it to him.
At this point, he's happy not to drop his up. You know, Sixer's a man who's he's escaped worldly claims. You know, he's a guy who finds happiness in the small things, like saving an.
He's one with the AWP now.
He is one with the AWP.
The spiritual ascension involves saving the AWP. And making it all the way to 16 without dropping it once.
Who's 16? That doesn't really matter. All that matters is that it is 16.
Oh, look at Gambit youngsters though. They want to take it out of his hands.
Oh, it's after time.
Oh man, that is so brutal because that means that Sixer is strapped for cash. But luckily for him, Afro can drop, man. But still, that's an AWP. You cannot.
That's so good.
Even if he wants to, now he can't go for an AWP. That could be the difference maker. I mean, sure, the AWP isn't what you exactly favor on the T side, but when you're looking at a map like Overpass with so many long angles to win out those duels against a player like Shiro, the AWP might just be what you need.
Well, nades fly through early on. Very good damage towards short. They go and super scouted the players out too. So Nafani, who's been playing from the pillar for a while, will know where the players are coming from pretty soon. He may be flashed up, but he peeks out. Supra's got one. Nafani does fall after getting just the one. However, Intro was still alive. Not good for the kill, though. And Supra, he requires assistance soon enough. Will be boosted up. Bombs being planted. That might be all it took, but he's already moved fast. Found a first, looking for more. No scope doesn't land. Sixer goes down to Shiro instead. A 1 versus 3, and can body clutch it out.
Body's the man you want on the job. Smoke, though, that forces them to push through. Tons of utility, but it'll actually be Axile's AK-47 to clean things up. Pretty comfortable defuse, and Gambit youngsters once again the impenetrable wall that they once were. LDLC cannot seem to catch a break, and these rounds are looking so comfortable too.
I thought for a second that maybe LDLC being on full AKs was really the trick that they needed, because you know, Sixer's not looking for picks. They just quickly slide into the B bomb site. Maybe that's how it works. No, absolutely not. And again, the fact that Sixer died after the time, the shockwaves of that round will be felt throughout. You can already see over here, money's not great, utility's not great, because Afro can't drop for anyone anymore. Haji would have otherwise been dropped. You know, this is where things start to get touchy. Axel gets aggressive early. Flashbang is good. Body might be able to trade. It's actually his own teammate's flashbang that gets Sixer killed. And
they still have the double up setup ready on the Gambit youngster side, though, which is something LDLC need to look out for. Up against 4 AKs. How effective is that going to be? Look at Gambit youngsters, though. Quite a bit of aggression. They're pushed up towards short, they're pushed up towards long, and they have control of toilet. So wherever LDLC goes, they should have the early information. But the bomb slowly making its way towards B. But the T side hasn't quite grouped up just yet. Body moving straight in. The audio information is there. And Supra should be going for it soon. But the utility... Oh man, he had the utility in his hand. Gets caught out, and so does Enters. Shiro and Nafani left in a 2-on-4 now, though. Bomb safely goes down. And despite having the opportunity there, just having the utility out in the wrong time is what cost them that round.
Seems like Gambit youngsters will still have to fight their way towards that 15th. LDLC not ready to give up too easily. I thought for a second the fact that Sixer goes down and the fact that he was the player with quite a bit of utility would have made it even more difficult for LDLC to actually penetrate that B bomb site. But as it turns out, Gambit youngsters got overly defensive on A, and they couldn't really try and capitalize on that. Because of it, they didn't know when the rotation comes through, and you know, the information isn't quite there. And like you said, ends up being some small little mistakes that cost them the round.
Gambit youngsters, though, I think they're feeling pretty comfortable still. I mean, they have as much money as they'd possibly need. But the problem is they don't have any insurance after that. This is the one full buy they can go for, and then for 2 rounds, they'd be cash-strapped if they lose that. So that would be the advantage going to LDLC, should they not be able to scrape together the money for it. LDLC quickly going for a little bit of mid-aggression here through Playground, and one playing from Connector. Molotov and Connector impeding their progress quite a bit, as they can't move forward just yet. They're taking their time, holding on to their horses, waiting for any potential information to come through, but instead of information, it will be a barrage of kills. Nafani and Axile to fall, and that's all the openings that they could possibly need. Shiro backing off into the A site, and man, a world of work awaits him.
Chero needs to step up. He needs to be the star. It is his time to shine. He finds the first, will be backing off safely. There's no way they can catch him off right now, but they have a lot of utility to try and block him away from these sites. He has got himself posted up. The second these guys peek over, it should be a chance for him to quickly squeak out a kill. However, he's been flashed off the angle, and a Molotov straight into toilets will help him reposition. These D-side players will need to still address the fact that his op is here along with two M4s who are ready to push through smokes should they need to do so. Inter's blinded up completely, will be brought down. Trade is not there. Chero needs to literally ace clutch this. He will get another one on the board. Conflict for the third. And there you have it. Some very well placed utility comes through. LDLC find themselves up to 13, and Gambit youngsters are no longer possessing the money they require to come through with a comfortable buy.
I mean, we were saying that LDLC had to have some stars set up. I mean, step up, and Body and Afro, they've been doing exactly that. They've been so successful on these entries. And off the back of that, LDLC is looking like a true contender here. I mean, a solid case being made for map number 3. And on the other hand, on Gambit youngsters, we've seen Nafani and Axile step up so nicely. But you still look at Gambit's kill distribution, and it's quite close still. On the other hand, though, LDLC, you can see that individual star power is starting to pop off. With this amount of money, though, I don't know what's going to go on. LDLC is the one that took the timeout, though. That obviously gave a little bit of breathing room for Gambit too, just to clear the air, just to have a bit of a conversation about their strategy moving in. And it looks like their strategy is to save their money and get the round after the equalizer.
Inter's going for the armor and Deagle are so insane to me, though. He doesn't have money in the next round to buy now because of that. You only have a $2,400 loss bonus at this point. Axel goes down. I hope Inter saves the cover at the very least. $2,400, you know, that's just $4,100 in the next round to buy up as a CT side. That is insufficient, to say the least.
Yeah, at best, you could do a FAMAS with a little bit of utility, and even if you go for the MP9, you're lacking the firepower that you need to pull yourself across the finish line when this is so close. Gambit, much more dominant performance on Inferno, but LDLC here, they're not looking to let it go just yet. Making their way on the B-bomb site now. This should be a cleanup unless Enters can pull something off. Waiting the angle with the Deagle. Gets it! Afro to fall. But now his position is given away. He's waiting in the sandbags. Body picks up Super on the other hand, and that Molotov should be enough to pick him up. Chero, 1-on-4. What can you ask of this man, honestly? An ace clutch in the previous round? I don't know.
A lot more in the previous few rounds if you're going with that. But you can also ask him to have a good next round. This round, I mean, you could ask him, but that's kind of just being a bit of an asshole, though, isn't it? It's like,
that's
yeah,
fair.
your friends are all dead. Why don't you come and win us around instead? You know, let the man just back off, save his Kevlar, save that Deagle. Maybe he comes out, whips out the Deagle, gets a couple of kills with that. You never know. Counter-Strike is a strange world. It's a strange place sometimes. And Nafani will be the one to be dropping him his AWP anyhow, so he can drop the M4 back into the other hands. On a serious note, Chero needs to step up. This is the time where you show whether you are a star or not. Axile, he's been doing his job, man. He's 22 and 17. That is excellent for a person who's supposed to be the second star of a team. Chero, if he doesn't come alive at this point, that is a big problem. You need to have a performance to force your team to the finish line at the very least, even if not across it.
This is their last chance, though. They've exhausted all of their money after this. They're playing for the win. They're not playing for overtime or anything here. LDLC, though, with the pause, you can tell that the pressure is on them because they've already lost the first map. Gambit youngsters still not feeling too much of the pressure because they still have Vertigo to go. But if LDLC loses, it would be GG for them. Timeout now over. This is pretty much the most important round of the game. This dictates the future of Gambit youngsters. Not so much for LDLC because they still will have money to try to play for the overtime. But again, in the grand scheme of things, you have to understand that the context insinuates that they would lose pretty much the entire series.
Oh no, the nade was missed. It could have been so big. Buddy, he's going to be moving into the bomb site very soon. Shiro's waiting, but he will be brought down immediately. Already you can see the AWP not coming into fruition the way it needs to. Gambit in the back lines. And LDLC just moves back and resets. They realize that the ball has very firmly been put in their court. It is up to them about whatever they want to do with it. Gambit youngsters have to put up a stellar defense against a lot of utility and a T-sign that is fully equipped to take them down. This is the ultimate test of the A-site players. Axel can't even get aggressive at this point. So when the flashes come through, when the smokes come through to block him off, do Gambit have what it takes to change things around? Because so far the answer to that has just been no.
The rotation has come in though. Axile, huge work on his hands. He starts off nicely, gets to first. Lots of damage on Lambert. And now the 3 versus 4 retake comes in. The flashbang rolls out. AWP shot missing. That might have just been the opportunity that they need. Supra and Inter's been really solid the rest of this game. Can they get this retake? 2 players low on the terrorist side. The smoke still up. Will they decide to save? Oh man, that is... I don't know what to think about this, because this is a doable retake, but at the same time, this really brings in the potential for a doable next round. Now, saving that up, will that change things? I don't know, because Shiro hasn't really been popping off. You saw how easily he was out-aimed by body there, even though he was scoped in on short, and that's the kind of shot that you cannot afford to miss when you're 14-14 and your team is relying on you. LDLC clinching away the match point, and Gambit youngsters now playing for overtime.
Nafani as well, whiffing the spray while he was moving outside of the smoke. That was huge. If he's able to get the kill earlier enough, it resets and has a chance to take down another, that's a completely different round again. So you could see Gambit youngsters, some of that youth really showing itself off in the worst possible way. Now, my question is, do we see something different? Continually from Gambit youngsters, we've seen the very epitome of turtled up Counter-Strike coming into play. LDLC going for a timeout over here will be beneficial for Gambit to talk things out as well, but that's only if their comms are any good right now. Axel, sure, he's doing all right. He's 23-18, but even he could have come through with a second kill, which wasn't there. So you gave 3 different players chances to step up on the CT side, and none of them's able to do so. Sure, Nafani and Axel don't drop the ball like Shiro did, but they didn't step up either. That's what you need at this stage. So
the problem I have with this is that even though Shiro was dry peak, like there was no flash, nothing, he missed a shot, so that means the nerves might be setting in. I mean, I can't blame Shiro because he's been performing phenomenally in the rest of the games, but this is where he really needs to step up. And now playing for overtime.
This is exactly finding this. Yes, this is brilliant. They didn't smoke off that Molotov for once, and Shiro is able to get the first. LDLC has been so good about getting control over B sewer water, but this time it is different. Shiro's even looking to re-aggress afterwards. If he can get up on top, that could be big as he gets that second kill. Finally, we are seeing some sort of proactive measures being taken by the CT side.
That was huge from Shiro. That puts them in the advantage and makes them real contenders for overtime here. They want to stop it right in their tracks. They cannot go to overtime. I mean, sorry, they cannot go to map number 3. That's what they're hoping for. Shiro, he's already picked up 2. What else are we going to see from the Gambit side? And more importantly, are LDLC going to close this out? Dixer banking on the player from the right side, enters to try to go for a bit of a silly peek there, but that is not going to come through. The time being wasted quite a bit for the terrorist side, and the molly pushing them back. There's still a bunch of utility on the CT side, and that is dangerous because that means that the T's will not have an opportunity to aggress into any bomb site. The position for Enters has been given away, but he's not giving away any kills. He picks up 2, and there it is. A 1 versus 5, pretty much impossible scenario. 15 seconds on the clock, and we should be looking at overtime very soon.
You say that, but there are still 2 players left. Can he get the bomb in time? No, he can't. You can't get the plant, so overtime is guaranteed at the very least. Easy there, Tiger. Maybe not chase the stats, you know. Good to see Gambit cleaning it up at the end. Shiro gets aggressive. Shiro gets something done. Always nice. I don't know if we've given LDLC enough credit for them getting to the 15 the way they have. The way that they were able to take control over the A site was marvelous. Every single time they had forced back the CT players to the site itself, and the CTs just looked like they didn't know how to deal with a slew of flashbangs coming their way. The CTs looked like they were expecting LDLC to not have the utility to actually go for a full take, but every single time LDLC had done a very good job of preserving it. So I want to give them credit for that. I think they did a very good job in a map which, you know, stats show that they don't really play all too much. Shiro now again trying to get aggressive, but it's Haji to find one. Unfortunately for him, the trades are all blue, and these blues are the CT side who are coming alive. A 3 versus 2 is secured as Sixer gets a return frag, but can he keep his team alive in this game? Doesn't look like it. Shiro and Inters finish things off.
What we've seen from Gambit youngsters is that they've had a very volatile CT side where sometimes they get they'd be pretty much unbeatable. It would feel like a wall as their defense, and then suddenly you see them dropping the ball. So we're not exactly sure of what to expect here. They
pendulum between a wall and a sandcastle that's poorly made.
Oh yeah. Let's see if they can keep up this performance though. LDLC quickly pushing up short. The bomb is towards B as well. They still have a lot of time to reset, of course, because it's only been... There's still 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. Quite a bit of utility being deployed by the CT side. Luckily, not many smokes, though, so they do have the potential of delaying the push further. Smoking himself out. Afro is able to return to safety. LDLC now, the pressure is on them. They've brought themselves so close to the finish line, but can they inch across it? Nafani being boosted up on sandbags. He finds one, and there's a second one too, but he's not going for it. He's not getting greedy, and this passivity might just work out for them.
Oh, you say passivity? I say go for another boost somewhere else. It's what they did before as well. Body, however, good to take down Inters this time around. Over on short, Nafani waiting for the push to come through. Lambert's the one aggressing through Monster. But Nafani playing inside water. This is generally where you see Inters. This time, however, maybe he can be the one who finds a little bit more success. Shiro has given them a bit of space to work with while the bomb goes down, and the CT players can get up close and personal. They're boosting up. Supra goes down initially. Can Nafani find anything? It's a 3v4, not an easy round to take away by any stretch of the imagination. From the back lines comes Axel to find one. Nafani makes it another, and suddenly it's a 3 versus 2. But Haji to bring it back in their favor. Flashbang is there. Molotov is well timed. AK picked up to try and fight back, and fight back they do. The bomb will not be defused yet. They do not have the time any longer. Haji's trying to go for this, and he knows he's played this perfectly. He gets the job done. Nafani, despite getting the kill, will only have that as consolation and statistics. 16 to 16, LDLC waited out and baited out perfectly.
The problem I see there is that when Chiro deployed that smoke, instead of just allowing Gambit to push up close, that also allowed LDLC to have a lot more mobility. Now, you can have the same effect as the smoke by just scoping in on that angle, especially because you have the AWP. You can allow your teammates to push in by using your AWP as a barrier for entry there and allow them to push up close. Now, since that didn't happen, LDLC were just able to reposition themselves to where short, where they had the advantage. Now 16 to 16. Let's see who's going to take this overtime first half advantage. Resetting now. LDLC, they've given up quite a bit of information on B, but they're not really committed to it.
Oh, where does that smoke go? Oh, ho, ho, ho. I see. I like it. I like it. And yes, that is my reaction to all those nice little smokes.
Nice.
Oh, ho, ho. It is a connoisseur, a smoke connoisseur. That's what I am. But I would also like to be a nice skills connoisseur. I'm scouting out for those. Axile will almost connect, but the flashbang's a bit too much to deal with. Body repositions outside of his traces, and you'll have a 4 versus 5. And again, this A site has been a big weakness, a big sore thumb for Gambit youngsters. They have continually lost control of it. This time, the LDLC don't seem to have the utility to try and go for it, so maybe it will be B where they're looking to make a hit. 35 seconds on the clock, and this rotation will be a very long one.
Oh yeah, LDLC, I'm sorry, Gambit youngsters, if they rotate in quickly, they could entirely stop the B push because they haven't spotted the bomb yet, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. The information is conveyed, and now the rotation comes through. If they can just deny the bomb plant once and get a kill here and there, this should be it. Afro taking a little bit of damage there, well, quite a bit actually. Haji to close down Supra. Sixer secures a kill as well as enters to fall, and now it's Shiro and Nafani. Unfortunately for them, the bomb has gone down, and they weren't able to stop it at all. 2 versus 5, the retake looking next to impossible, so the advantage should be for LDLC.
Nafani's also just hoping and praying that they make a mistake, but that simply isn't going to happen. It's a flawless round to ending. I have to say, Inters has really dropped the ball on the B side. I have not seen him get a kill a single time when he's left solo anchoring. He's simply not hitting his shots, and this sounds like such a ridiculous thing for me to say because I'm just going to come off as a hater, but I have seen him miss 3 or 4 kills, which he would have had with an M4A4. That was one of them. That is simply why you never get an M4A1 when you're playing B-side anchor on any map, because B-sides are generally close-range sites. He's overwhelmed. He's not able to get that last kill. Because of him, Supra has to wide swing. Super wide swings and there's 3 terrorist side players on the other side. You're never getting that retake.
Gambit youngsters, 17. Though,
yeah, Gambit youngsters,
they're now on the back lines. Despite getting the first map, despite looking so strong early on Overpass, LDLC, they're definitely having a word with Gambit about that. Double op setup though, which is something very uncommon on the T side, especially of Overpass. Wait, did they just throw away that AWP? Did I see an AWP there, or am I going crazy?
That was a flashbang.
No. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna let this one go. I'm gonna look at the demo later.
I mean, there are 3 ops on the server anyway, so you should never have more than 3 ops on a server at a time. That is a general good rule of thumb. 48 seconds on the clock. CT's pretty aggressive inside toilets for once, actually. So this A site hit will be fairly difficult. Seems like Gambit youngsters are about to find out why it pays to have CTs keeping control over toilets. But as I say that, they are backing off. Supra moving through. The smoke will not be doing much to him. He gets the quick kill. Does he realize there's another player in there? Yes, he does. Sixer caught with his knife out. 3v5, CT's trying to re-aggress the trade away, but the trades are going in the way of Gambit youngsters. Lambert left in a 1 versus 4, and he is made short work of. 17th round comes out for Gambit. And LDLC, once again, playing tete-a-tete in the worst possible way.
Gambit youngsters, like, now that they have the opportunity of playing on the terrorist side, you can see that they're exploiting very similar weaknesses as to what we saw from themselves. Unfortunately for LDLC, they weren't really able to hold on to the bomb site, just being picked apart left and right. Oh man, that Molotov missing, that is going to be a thorn in their side, but not too much. They can work.
That lets CTs get fully aggressive. Look at this, Afro's position is not possible. They have to smoke it off. They have to give away information that they've pushed into short if that Molotov lands. Axel now has to manually check, and he has an AWP, sure, but it doesn't matter. Lambert's already posted. That one missed Molotov makes so much of a difference.
Yeah, because that made Axel go aggressive.
Yes. I also don't know if Lambert would have gotten that kill through the wall because Axel was knifed, so if not for that, could have been a different story altogether. And look at how much control they've lost because of that one failed volley.
Yeah, that pretty much means that LDLC have free control of short, and with Afro pushing, oh, never mind, Shiro will answer to that with an AWP. They've caught wind of the player playing from boost, but there's only 45 seconds on the clock, and still a smoke in the hands of Sixer. So Gambit youngsters, they need to make their plays faster. Answering in from both short and monster. A play is about to come in through soon. Nafani, though, before he does that, he will be going for a boost to potentially catch off Sixer.
Okay,
I mean Lambert, sorry.
Oh, Lambert's got himself 2 kills already. They can't see over. It's a 4 versus 2. LDLC seem to have taken this one away. Nafani, sure, he's got 1, and it's a 2v3. Much more doable, but without Molotovs, they're relying on pure shots to hit. One molly comes in. Lambert scopes in and peeks out. Gets himself the last 2 kills as well. It is an ace to take himself forward to that map point.
The problem there is that they dropped the bomb there, which allows Lambert to know that he can repeat later on just to try to fetch that bomb again. You saw that he caught a glimpse of that bomb, so his positioning was all based off of whether or not they can pick up the bomb, because they only had 15 seconds left. Gambit youngsters now looking to take it to map number 3, to be honest, because they've not exactly had the best of luck here. I mean, missing that molly, giving leeway for LDLC to move in, but now it's a hard and fast B push. This is as classic as it gets. Lambert boosted up on top of the boost. He gets caught out by Supra. They're looking to take it to second overtime, but can they bring it to fruition? They're on 17. Now the bomb is being planted. See if they can hold on to this.
Gambit youngsters. They do have a Molotov. They do have some flashes, but largely utility will only help so much. They're going to be feeling afraid to pull it out. Flashes and nades all flying through. The CTs cannot find ground, though. Supra faces into a flashbang, and Intis has found a kill in his place, but he's given enough of a distraction for Shiro and Nafani to clean things up. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Gambit youngsters are not going to give up that easily. Sure, Lambert can get an ace here and there, but that's just not enough for them to be letting go of this map already.
This actually looks a bit scary for LDLC, because the one round that Gambit lost was based off of Lambert getting that ace and the miss, the initial miss from the Molotov. So I don't know what to say about that. This is a very interesting prospect, to say the least. I think Gambit could even secure 3 rounds in a row the way they've been playing on their T side. I mean, if it weren't for their own mistakes, they could have gotten a 3-0 here. But quickly pushing into the B-bomb site, Nafani smokes it out for himself. Lambert is there to support. Lambert, despite the fact that he's flagged out of his mind, picks up Nafani. Afro comes around the corner, and it's a 2-for-2 trade. All comes down to a 2 versus 3. Supra already in the bomb site, with his teammate coming up the slope. Great position from Supra. He catches Lambert, sits on top of his head, and executes him. Sixer, though, scoped in on that angle, allows Body to move in, and that's the information being given away. Supra knows exactly where he is, and Body is not able to win the duel. 1 versus 2. Sixer left on the op and left to save. I'm a little surprised that he's saving, though, because
like,
what?
It's
this
overtime.
Is a 16K overtime. What are you doing?
Come on. It's a 1v2.
Wait, this might actually be a read. He's expecting them to go A. He's coming around long. He has the deagle in hand. They're not expecting this. They're probably expecting a save. He has the... This deagle could go insane. He spots the first player.
Oh, no, he's revealed himself, though. He doesn't have too much HP to work with. That nade could be huge. Sixer. He had found the biggest of brains, but he could not have the biggest of aims, unfortunately. Gambit youngsters, although seemingly outsmarted in that 1v2, do come out on top. I was so confused for a second.
If he had a rifle there, that
he would have won.
He would have won that 100%.
Yes.
But being forced onto that deagle that's why he took the pot shot, because he was worried that the bomb planter, as soon as he's done, that's a 2 versus 1. So he wanted to isolate that 1v1 as soon as he could. And off of that, man, big brain, but unfortunately not big aim in that instance.
I was so confused for a second as well, but there you had it. That's why they get paid the big bucks and we don't. Thank God for that. RG waiting for a push to come in, but Lambert's the one to break first blood. Intis goes down. Afro's moved through the connector, and he's added even more to his tally. 19-19 seems inevitable, but Nafani will be given a fair shot of bringing things back as he finds 2 kills early in. Axile might not be expected to have gotten this far, while Nafani is all the way over towards that fountain area. However, they realize that the bomb is still in connector. And I feel like this round might still be over. Axile's made too much noise. He's going to find a CT around that corner. Will not be expecting him on the angle, but he gets a flick onto him instead. A 1 versus 2 with 2 AWPs on the other side. They will very quickly try to shift over. And although they give away sound cues, it's Axile to peek out. He can't get the immediate headshot. He backs off. This is so nicely done. Axile's giving himself a legitimate chance here. Flashbang forward to make sure he has a peek. Great angle being held from him. The continual off angle is there. He's getting ready to spray them down. Wants to peek forward. Wants to come through. Gets the first. Gets the second. Axile is unstoppable. 20 and 18. If Gambit youngsters move past the distance, this man is the one who has gotten them there. What a play coming up from him. Look at that again in the replay. Just the adjustments coming in, and then the swift headshot after headshot. He is just so good.
Axile carried them there, so close to the finish line yet so far, because we've seen what LDLC can do, and a triple op setup coming out, completely defying your theory of, well, your ideal circumstance of having no more than 3 AWPs on the server. And maybe you'll still be right, because if this fails, I mean, they're definitely going to be blaming that triple op setup. Well, now initially those Sixers picked up 2, and that's too much.
That's just 1 up. That's just 1 up. Okay, I need the other 2 to get a kill.
Yeah.
Supra. Well, he will be okay, that's op number 2 chiming in. Okay, you know what? Maybe we're getting dangerously close to triple op viability territory.
Oh man, listen, it's Lambert 2 on the 3rd op, so you never know. He's been hitting those nutty shots. Afro though is gonna come around and soon to clean up the mess, and there's Lambert to pick up the last piece. There it is, the triple op setup being viable. The thing is,
what people don't understand, I never said triple op isn't viable. I just said 3 ops on a server is all you should have. Now, Shiro didn't get any kills there, guys. So
that works out. Okay,
I still win. Still though, LDLC come out with a bit of a gimmick, but I think they would have probably won the round regardless of the triple op if Sixer hits those first 2 shots.
Yeah, Sixer would have hit those shots regardless, so.
Yeah, so.
Gambit youngsters, now they've put themselves in such a good spot. They just need to win 2 rounds to close it out, and we've seen how deadly their CT side can be, but it's LDLC they're up again, so you never know.
Plus, Gambit youngsters CT side was a little bit dry. Shiro, however, this time, come on, it backs off just at the wrong time.
Yeah, I feel like they might have figured out the secret recipe, though, because when they started getting aggressive, that's when they started really being able to capitalize on the CT-sided positioning. Shiro, though, he gets a little aggressive, doesn't find anything, and will back off. Sixer doesn't find anything off the boost either, so that's a fair bit of time being wasted for the terrorist side. Molotov rolls out.
Look at this boost from Afro. That's very. I wonder if you can actually crouch a little bit towards the left and scout in towards short, but I'm guessing you probably can't. Axile, the man of an hour, not picking up with that flashbang. Has a second flashbang to try and assist, but unfortunately for him, the timing isn't quite there. Nafani then reaggresses, is trying to usurp his position, moving in from the side. He's expecting players behind him, finds the first, turns around for more, but he cannot connect. It's still a 3 versus 3. Shiro needs to step up, but the T's are stepping back. However, Gambit, they're ready. Supra's position, it is excellent, it is superb, but it is not a shot being landed. Come on, Supra.
These are the shots you cannot afford to miss. Now enters, let's see if he can hit his. That is not going to be the case. Shiro left all alone. He had the opportunity to nip it in the bud earlier when they were towards A side, but now he's on the retake. And because of the fact that they're in overtime, because they have all that money, Shiro will decide to go for it anyway. Peeking out from jungle now. He doesn't have any information. Afro playing the anti-flash to not be caught out. Peeking out just a little bit. Not exactly sure what Shiro is going for here, but Sixer eventually puts an end to his misery. 2020. At this point, you're not sure if I'm calling out the year or the scoreline.
I mean, both are equally abysmal because of different reasons. I'm sorry. Supra just missed his shots there. I don't understand.
Yeah, he hasn't been having the best of games, to be honest. I mean, 21-27. Shiro and Axel have really been the ones that have been pulling.
Even Shiro's not been. Nafani and Axel have been the ones who are both 30 bombing at this point. So.
Oh right, I didn't notice.
Shiro's been very quiet as well this game. Let's not make any mistakes about it. He has not had that many opportunities to miss shots, but that's also very often because by the time it's his turn to be active in the round, it seems like the round has often already been lost. And Shiro, again, not really finding much. He does get aggressive this time, but he doesn't realize there's a run boost coming in, and because of that, he gets confused and ends up falling. That particular one, I don't particularly blame him for it, but blame or not, round might be going away. However, Nafani gets aggressive and turns things around right when they need it the most. Lambert is still lurking, and the trade game is strong on LDLC.
I'm a little surprised they immediately went for the connector push when they got the advantage. Ideally, you don't want to aggress that further, especially when you don't have the opportunity to have your teammate back you up. Now enters, playing very passively on the B-bomb site. Let's see if he's going to... Oh, this is problematic. They have 3 Molotovs. They're definitely going to be mollying this place out. Slowly making their way towards Monster now. Guns all out. No utility just yet, so they're just walking in. This might be a mistake for them to not molly out. Utility slowly chiming in. Oh, they missed that one spot that they needed to molly, and Enters is going to capitalize on that. He picks up 2, and he should be good for the 3rd, but and Sixer with a quick no-scope there is able to pick up Enters. Axile 1 versus 1. You said he was stepping up greatly for his team, but he needs to step up again if he wants to bring it to 21. Slowly walking in. Sixer spamming away with the Deagle is not going to work out for him. Axile taking away the round, stepping up yet again for his team, and that's the defuse. Man, such a valiant effort by Sixer too. I mean, getting on the bomb site and making his way for, putting himself in a good spot for a 1v2, but that's what you get sometimes.
Yeah, look at that. Enters. Seemed like he had... Oh, dude, that shot was so nasty, honestly.
Oh yeah. First, I until I saw the replay, I thought that was a no-scope. Actually, I even called it that because of how quick it was.
I thought that too. Still, crazy stuff. That being said, you also going to have a very high... Oh, look at this, Axel. Very nice nade coming in, but it is just slightly poorly timed, unfortunately. He wasn't expecting LDLC to rush right outside of the connector door the way they did on Lambert. Wait for... Oh, nades also fly through.
This is a lot for the CT side to deal with, but LDLC, they're backing off, going for a bit of a reset. They've given up so much information on B, and they're banking on Gambit youngsters going for the rotates so that they can push in easily towards A. Shiro being mollied out is not able to find anything just yet, but he repositions. Meanwhile, though, there's a 1-for-1 trade. Enters on the B-bomb site, getting the advantage back for Gambit youngsters.
Gambit youngsters, this is their chance. They've had a few of them. Let's not make any mistakes about it. They had a few of them. But this is their chance, and Shiro's come through. That's the first kill coming in. Hachi falls. Shiro has another. Sixer is now left. He's been the hero. He's been the star at times to bail them out of a dark situation. But this one seems a bit too much even for him. He may have possession of the bomb, but the time is not on his side, and neither is the positioning. Gambit youngsters will finally take it away